Chapter 3646. Seeing Duan Lingtian push back the soul bead, Tu Feng's face darkened. His eyes flashed with a cold light. Duan Lingtian, are you not giving me Tu Feng face? Are you not giving my honorable master face? If you think so, I can't do anything about it. Duan Lingtian shrugged. He calmly looked at Tu Feng and said, I, Duan Lingtian, can decide my own life. I don't need anyone else to interfere. Do you really think I don't dare to do anything to you? Tu Feng asked coldly as he stared at Duan Lingtian. At the same time, a destructive aura swept out from his body. It was clear that Tu Feng comprehended the laws of destruction. Moreover, looking at the strength of the divine power rising from Tu Feng's body, it was clear that he wasn't just a divine spirit. He was a god king. Tu Feng was the chief disciple of the Hidden Fog sect's second elder. He was a lower god king who wasn't even 10,000 years old. Although he wasn't at the top of the Hidden Fog sect's younger generation, he was still an outstanding figure. What? You dare to make a move in the Hidden Fog Academy? Seeing Tu Feng's strength rise, Duan Lingtian's lips curved into a mocking smile. There was no fear in his eyes. He was well aware of the Hidden Fog Academy's rules. If an outsider dared to trespass into the academy, it was a capital offense, let alone attacking a student. The Hidden Fog sect's disciples might have the right to enter the academy, but if they dared to attack a student on campus, it would be difficult for them to escape death. Elder Senior Apprentice Brother. Just as Tu Feng was about to lose his mind, another gray-robed youth behind him spoke up to stop him. At the same time, the youth reminded him with a sound transmission, the Hidden Fog Academy has rules. Even if it is our Hidden Fog sect's disciples, if they dare to attack a student, they will be killed without mercy. In the past, many Hidden Fog sect disciples were executed because of this. One of them was even the Great Elder's disciple. At that time, when the Vice Sect Master killed the Great Elder's disciple, not only did the Great Elder not dare to be angry, he even apologized to the Vice Sect Master. The Vice Sect Master this youth spoke of was the Hidden Fog sect's Vice Sect Master, Murong Suifeng. He was also the Dean of Hidden Fog Academy. Hearing this reminder, Tu Feng restrained the strength that rose from his body. But his eyes were still cold as they fell on Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian, there will come a day when you enter the Hidden Fog sect. At that time, I will settle the old debts of today with you. Of course, the prerequisite is that you live until the day you enter the Hidden Fog sect. As he spoke, the corners of Tu Feng's mouth curled into a mocking smile. When Duan Lingtian had offended the Heavenly Wind City's God King level Zhong family, Tu Feng had also heard about it. With his understanding of the Zhong family, there was no way they would let this Duan Lingtian go so easily. Perhaps this Duan Lingtian would die before he could enter the Hidden Fog sect. Duan Lingtian calmly watched Tu Feng leave. His face was expressionless from beginning to end. It was clear he wasn't affected at all. And in the following period of time, people from the Hidden Fog sect came to Hidden Fog Academy one after another to look for Duan Lingtian. But Duan Lingtian was too lazy to bother with them. He closed his door and didn't come out. It wasn't until the day of the 10-star student's smelting trial was about to arrive that Duan Lingtian once again walked out of his room and out of the academy gates. After coming out, he headed in the direction of 10 Stars Hall. When the 10-star students went out for smelting trial, 10 Stars Hall would give them some divine pills to restore their spiritual strength and heal their injuries. Of course, not every 10-star student received the same amount of divine pills. The 10-star students were also divided into 4 levels according to their dormitory. The higher the level, the more divine pills they could receive. For instance, Duan Lingtian could now receive the highest grade of divine pills. Of course, this was only because there were more divine pills. It didn't mean he had better divine pills. Duan Lingtian is here. After several months, Duan Lingtian has finally appeared again. Before Duan Lingtian entered 10 Stars Hall, things were fine. Although he encountered some 10-star students along the way, no one paid attention to him, so no one recognized him. However, when they entered the 10 Stars Palace, they caused quite a commotion. You're here? Lu Jin stepped forward, a forced smile on his face as he asked Duan Lingtian. At the same time, there was a bit of nervousness in his eyes. Facing the restrained Lu Jin, Duan Lingtian faintly smiled and nodded. You're also here to receive the divine pills? Yes. Seeing Duan Lingtian's attitude towards him was the same as before, Lu Jin secretly relaxed. The smile on his face also became much brighter. Duan Lingtian. Another figure walked towards Duan Lingtian. It was another Duan Lingtian's acquaintance, Ding Yan. Duan Lingtian smiled and nodded at Ding Yan. Back then, Ding Yan had kindly reminded him of some things. Therefore, even though he and Ding Yan were quite hostile at the beginning, it didn't affect the harmony between him and Ding Yan. However, when Ding Yan approached Duan Lingtian, his expression suddenly became serious. At the same time, he transmitted his voice to Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian, I suggest you don't go out for the trial this time. If you don't go, no one will say anything about you. No one in the academy dares to question your strength now. Ding Yan transmitted his voice to advise Duan Lingtian. According to the rules of the Hidden Fog Academy, all students were required to participate in the trial. If they didn't participate, they would be expelled from the academy. However, Ding Yan felt that with Duan Lingtian's talent and comprehension, the Hidden Fog Academy wouldn't be willing to expel Duan Lingtian. What? Duan Lingtian looked at Ding Yan meaningfully and asked, "Don't play dumb in front of me." Ding Yan rolled his eyes at Duan Lingtian. The fact that you offended the Zhong family is no secret in Tianfeng City. The Zhong family will definitely make a move on you during the trial this time. Even if the Zhong family doesn't make a move on you, the other God King level families will. Of course, they won't make a move on you because they have a grudge against you. They want to frame the Zhong family so that the dean will be angry and punish the Zhong family. As Ding Yan's voice reached the end, his tone became extremely solemn. Are they that bold? How dare they make a move on me when I'm out on a trial? Duan Lingtian raised his eyebrows. Although he had guessed it before, he was still shocked when he heard that the Zhong family dared to make a move on him when a 10-star student was out on a trial. Of course they wouldn't at first. Ding Yan shook his head and said, however, the 10-star students will be separated from the teachers who are leading them during the trial. The people from the Zhong clan and the other God King clans can hide in the place where we are conducting the trial and wait for an opportunity to make a move on you. When the time comes, as long as they do it cleanly, there won't be any evidence. Ding Yan's repeated attempts to dissuade Duan Lingtian had affected Duan Lingtian to a certain extent. Duan Lingtian began to reconsider. After a while, Duan Lingtian seemed to have thought of something. He asked Ding Yan, as far as I know, God Kings and above aren't allowed to enter the trial grounds where the 10-star students are going, right? Yes. Ding Yan nodded. There's a formation set up around that place. If a God King or above appears inside, it'll sound the alarm. However, while God Kings and above aren't allowed to enter, higher deities are allowed to enter. The Zhong family and the other God King level families don't lack higher deities. I know you're strong and you don't think much of ordinary higher deities. However, what about a group of higher deities? A group of higher deities might even form a formation to attack you. Even if you're strong, you won't be able to withstand them. Ding Yan reminded him again. In other words, it's impossible for a God King to make a move on me? Duan Lingtian asked again. Of course. Ding Yan nodded. The teachers leading the team will escort us all the way to the trial grounds. As long as you don't leave the trial grounds, no God King will be able to appear in front of you without alerting you. Those teachers aren't to be trifled with. Upon hearing Ding Yan's words, Duan Lingtian felt much more assured. At the same time, he decided to participate in the 10-star trial. If he didn't participate, he would have to seek permission from the Hidden Fog Academy's president. Moreover, if he participated in the trial and ranked at the top, he would be able to obtain some precious items. Of course, the precious items mentioned here were only precious to deities. They might not be of much use to God Kings and above. This time's trial, what are the rewards? Duan Lingtian asked Ding Yan. A moment later, he learned from Ding Yan about the rewards for the 10-star trial. The best reward was a dragon-marked divine grass that could help deities improve their cultivation. Of course, the effects were not as good as the Jia Yi Bing 3 divine pills combined. However, the difference was not too great. Moreover, Duan Lingtian had already consumed the Jia Yi Bing 3 divine pills before. It would not have any effect on him if he consumed the dragon-marked divine grass that he had never consumed before. Even if the dragon-marked divine grass can't help me break through to the higher deity stage, it should be able to bring me closer to the higher deity stage. I must obtain it. The dragon-marked divine grass made Duan Lingtian even more determined to participate in the 10-star trial. As for the threat from the Zhong family and the other God King clans, Duan Lingtian knew that he should be able to deal with a group of higher deities even if they formed a formation. At the critical moment, even if he used all his methods, it would be useless. At most, he would take the risk and use the 7 Orifices exquisite sword. Now that he was an intermediate deity, he could unleash the true power of the 7 Orifices exquisite sword. Moreover, the sword soul of the 7 Orifices exquisite sword Huang Er would definitely be stronger. Duan Lingtian, Although the dragon-marked divine grass is rare with your talent and comprehension, you can just ask the president for one. There's no need to take the risk for it. Ding Yan could not help but advise Duan Tian again when he heard that he still intended to participate in the trial and was tempted by the dragon-marked divine grass. Chapter 3647. Ask the Dean for help? Upon hearing Ding Yan's words, although Duan Tian felt that this was feasible, he did not intend to do so. Once he did so, it would mean that he would owe Ding Yan a huge favor. Most importantly, he felt that there was no need to do so. I still want to see a 10-star student's trial, Duan Tian said with a faint smile. Ding Yan originally wanted to persuade him again, but when he met Duan Tian's determined gaze, he shut his mouth and did not continue. It was not difficult for him to see that Duan Tian had made up his mind. Then when the time comes, you and I will leave together. When those fellows see me, I think they will hesitate to attack the rat for fear of breaking the vases, Ding Yan said. Duan Tian nodded. Of course, don't misunderstand, I have no intention of competing with you for points. In the trial, the points belong to whoever kills the demon beast. The reason he said this was undoubtedly because he was worried that Duan Tian would misunderstand his original intention. Duan Tian looked deeply at Ding Yan. When those people from the God King level clans see you, they will hesitate to attack the rat for fear of breaking the vases? If I'm not mistaken, you're a defeated opponent of mine, Duan Tian said with a smile. Of course, I'm not saying that my strength is enough to make them hesitate to attack the rat for fear of breaking the vases. It's my identity. Ding Yan's eyes flashed and he hesitated for a moment before he spoke. Your identity? Duan Tian raised an eyebrow and looked at Ding Yan with interest. What identity? In his opinion, if Ding Yan really had an identity that could make the God King level clans of Tianfeng City hesitate to attack the rat for fear of breaking the vases, then he would not be living in a 10-star student's low-class dormitory now. He would have lived in a high-class dormitory long ago, or at least a middle-class dormitory. When the time comes, you will naturally know. Ding Yan obviously did not want to talk about this topic. Duan Tian also did not delve into it because he did not need anyone to follow him and protect him. As long as there were no God Kings from the God King level clans in Tianfeng City, no matter how many higher deities tried to intercept him, even if he was no match for them, he was confident that he would be able to escape with his life. Furthermore, when the time came, he might not even need to flee. Perhaps, at that time, it would be hard to say who would be the one to kill who. No matter what, thank you for your kindness. Duan Tian nodded at Ding Yan and went to collect the divine pill. He then prepared to leave the 10 Stars Hall and wait for the 10-star student's trial to arrive. Duan Tian. A voice sounded from behind. It was getting closer and closer. When Duan Tian turned around, an ordinary-looking young man with a medium build wearing a long green robe had already appeared before his eyes. Is something the matter? Those who could appear here were, naturally, 10-star students. However, Duan Tian did not know who this person was. When Duan Tian was asking about the person, Ding Yan's voice rang in his ears. Duan Tian, this person is also from the Zhong clan. His name is Chong Huyang. Naturally, he's only a branch disciple of the Zhong clan. His position in the Zhong clan is not something Zhong Keki can compare to. As soon as Ding Yan finished speaking, Chong Huyang looked at Duan Tian and said solemnly, Duan Tian, I was sent by our Zhong clan to express our stance. As long as you're willing to join our Zhong clan and become a branch disciple of our Zhong clan and swear a heart demon blood oath to be loyal to the Zhong clan for life, our Zhong clan will no longer make things difficult for you because of the conflict between you and young Master Zhong Keki. Otherwise, although Chong Huyang had intentionally interrupted Duan Tian, the threat in his tone was obvious. Duan Tian could guess what he was going to say. Otherwise what? Duan Tian glanced at Chong Huyang indifferently as a faint smile appeared on his face. Don't tell me your Chong clan plans to annihilate me? Just because I snatched Zhong Keki's high-grade dorm room? Moreover, it's within the rules of the Hidden Fog Academy? Duan Tian, I know you're strong and talented. However, I advise you to submit to the circumstances. A wise man submits to circumstances. Chong Huyang shook his head. This is my personal advice to you. I hope you can give me an answer before the 10-star trial begins. Otherwise the Zhong clan won't let you go. This is my soul orb. Chong Huyang turned around and handed his soul orb to Duan Tian. However, Duan Tian rejected his soul orb. There's no need for that. All right. Chong Huyang did not waste any time. He put away the soul orb and left. However, when he turned around, a cold smile appeared on his face. He did not dare to go too far in front of Duan Lingtian. After all, his strength was far inferior to Duan Lingtian's. If he was beaten up by Duan Lingtian, the gains would not make up for the losses. Just as Duan Lingtian was about to leave the 10 Stars Hall, several more people came forward. These people were from the other God King level clans in Wind City. Among them was the Zhou clan. Their goal was the same as Chongho Yang's. They wanted to recruit Duan Lingtian for their clans. Of course, they did not make any excessive demands. For example, they made a heart demon blood oath. After all, their clans did not have any conflicts with Duan Lingtian. Even if Duan Lingtian only agreed on the surface, joining their clans would only bring benefits to their clans. However, Duan Lingtian rejected them one by one. He had his own path to walk. Right now, he was already in the Hidden Fog Academy under the God Emperor level Hidden Fog sect. If he were to join a God King level clan, it would be a waste of effort. The trial for the Hidden Fog Academy's 10-star students was held once a year. Every year, the Hidden Fog Academy would take out something as a reward for the 10-star students. This year, the Hidden Fog Academy took out many tempting rewards as usual. Among them, the Dragon Mark Divine Grass was the best reward. This year, the Academy is a bit stingy. Last year, they took out Jia Yibing 3 Divine Pills as a reward for the first place. But this year, they only gave out Dragon Mark Divine Grass. Yes. Although Dragon Mark Divine Grass is the same type of divine pill as Jia Yibing 3 Divine Pills, its efficacy is much worse. Aren't you thinking too much? In any case, it's impossible for you to get first place in this trial. I think the second and third place rewards are better than last year's. It should be balanced out. In front of the 10 Stars Hall, a group of 10-star students were discussing. Today was also the day that the 10-star students would participate in the trial. The trial would start today and last for 3 months. In these 3 months, all 10-star students would enter the trial grounds that the Hidden Fog Academy had already chosen. The trial grounds were a Monster Beast mountain range. No matter how many Monster Beasts died, they would still come back in groups the next year. And this was the work of the Hidden Fog Academy. To be more precise, it was the work of the Hidden Fog sect. When the Monster Beasts in the Monster Beast mountain range died, the Hidden Fog sect would capture Monster Beasts from other places and bring them here. With the cultivation of the Hidden Fog sect's powerhouses, they could imprison a large number of Monster Beasts in their small worlds and release them into the Monster Beast forest. For example, before the Hidden Fog Academy's 10-star students began, the Hidden Fog sect's powerhouses had already released a large number of Monster Beasts into the Monster Beast forest. The rules of the trial for the 10-star students are like this. Duan Lingtian was also in the crowd. Many people around him often looked at him as if he was some rare animal. And at this moment, Ding Yan, who was standing beside him, finished speaking in a timely manner. Just a moment ago, Duan Lingtian completely understood the specific rules of the Hidden Fog Academy's 10-star student trial through Ding Yan's mouth. The Hidden Fog Academy's 10-star student trial would be held in a fixed Monster Beast forest. After killing a Monster Beast, as long as the student touched the blood of the Monster Beast with their point token, the token would record their points. Different Monster Beasts with different cultivation levels would have different points. The point token would only be issued before the trial began. This was to prevent people from cheating. All of the Monster Beasts in the Monster Beast forest had array formations placed on their bodies by the Hidden Fog sect's powerhouses. All of them had died under the hands of the same person. Only a quarter of an hour after their death and the blood that hadn't entered the storage ring would be recorded as points. This also prevented the possibility of students with a certain background from cheating. After all, the Monster Beast forest couldn't be completely restricted. It could only prevent existences above the Divine King level from entering. Moreover, before the trial began, the Hidden Fog Academy's teachers would wander around the Monster Beast forest to confirm that there were no other people hunting Monster Beasts. Only then would the Hidden Fog Academy students be allowed to enter the Monster Beast forest and begin the trial. The point token has to recognize an owner. The point token will also recognize the laws that the owner is proficient in. Only by using that law to kill Monster Beasts can one accumulate points. This further prevents the possibility of cheating. Previously, when he heard Ding Yan say these and even more restrictions, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but feel his scalp tingle. The Hidden Fog Academy students really went to great lengths to prevent the 10-star students from cheating in the trial. With so many restrictions, it would be better to directly prohibit outsiders from entering that place. Only the Hidden Fog Academy students could enter that place. For this reason, Duan Lingtian had asked Ding Yan about it. However, Ding Yan's answer was, the Hidden Fog Academy felt that this was more secure. This was because as long as the array formation didn't restrict people above the Divine King level, many Divine King level existences who were proficient in array formations could easily break it. It was meaningless to set it up. Even if the array formation restricted Divine King level existences, it was only a warning. It couldn't kill a Divine King. The Hidden Fog sect behind the Hidden Fog Academy didn't have any experts who were truly proficient in array formations. Therefore, the Hidden Fog Academy set up so many restrictions to limit the possibility of cheating. Hongjun, you were defeated by him? Is he really that strong? In the corner of the group of 10-star students, a young man wearing a gray robe walked to Hongjun's side. He looked at the purple figure in the distance with his back to him and asked Hongjun with a flicker in his eyes. Chapter 3648. There's a floating image pearl in the 10 Stars Hall that recorded my battle with Ling Tian. Didn't you borrow it to take a look? In response to the gray-robed young man's question, Hongjun glanced at him indifferently and replied with a question. I came out of closed-door cultivation 2 days ago. When I went to the 10 Stars Hall to collect the divine pills, I wanted to borrow a floating image pearl. However, the floating image pearls in the 10 Stars Hall that recorded your battle with Ling Tian were stolen. I can only wait for them to return it. The gray-clad young man shook his head and smiled wryly. There were many floating image pearls in the 10 Stars Hall, and 10-star students could borrow them by spending their credits. Every student in the Hidden Fog Academy had credits. Credits were usually obtained in the trials. Naturally, the credits here were not the same as the points in the trials. Points were points and credits were credits. Points were used to rank the students in the trials. After the ranking, the points would be converted into credits. Academic credits were equivalent to a special currency in the Hidden Mist Academy. In the Hidden Mist Academy, other than the use of God Stones for private transactions, students couldn't use God Stones for transactions between the Academy and the Academy. In the Hidden Fog Academy, credits could be used to exchange for anything. They could be used to borrow cultivation methods and floating image pearls. They could also be used to purchase divine pills, divine fruits, divine herbs and divine weapons. Credits could not be given out privately in the Hidden Fog Academy. They could only be used for consumption. This was to prevent students with strong backgrounds from threatening other students to transfer their credits to them. I heard that when you fought with him, he did not use a divine weapon. You had to use a divine weapon to fight him to a draw? The gray-clad young man asked again. Since you already know, why ask? Hongjun glanced at the gray-clad young man indifferently and said, He Yiping, if you really want to know his strength, you can challenge him. He's staying in a high-grade dormitory. You can go to the 10 Stars Hall and apply for a challenge auction to his dormitory. The gray-clad young man was called He Yiping. He was as famous as Hongjun in the Hidden Fog Academy, and his strength was on par with Hongjun. However, due to his ordinary background, he could not stay in a high-grade dormitory. It was also because of this that he and Hongjun appreciated each other and had a good relationship. Do you really want me to make a fool of myself? He Yiping glared at Hongjun and said, I was just asking casually because I found it hard to believe. If he has truly mastered the fusion of 3 profundities from the law of space, let alone you and me, even if we join forces, we won't be able to defeat him. Hongjun snorted coldly and ignored He Yiping. However, when his gaze landed on Duan Lingtian, it became extremely solemn. He would never forget the last battle. That was also the first time in his life that he had lost to someone younger than him. Are you Duan Lingtian? Duan Lingtian had just stopped talking to Ding Yen when a voice came from afar and soon arrived in front of him. The person who came was a young man dressed in fine clothes. His face was firm, his eyes were bright, and his curly hair was draped behind his back. There was a gentle aura between his brows, giving people a distinct feeling. It was easy to remember this kind of person with just a glance. Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up when he saw this person. This was one of the few people he had seen in his life who had a distinctive appearance. Hello, I'm Ho Qingning. The young man came in front of Duan Lingtian and introduced himself with a smile before Duan Lingtian could speak. Ho Qingning. Duan Lingtian was not unfamiliar with this name. On his first day at the Hidden Fog Academy, he had heard Lu Jin mention Ho Qingning. He knew that Ho Qingning was one of the people who lived in the 5 high-grade dormitories among the 10-star students. He was also one of the people who lived in the high-grade dormitory with his own strength. At the same time, he had an extraordinary identity. He was the young sect master of a God King level sect. Duan Lingtian. Seeing the other party's kind face, Duan Lingtian returned the greeting and nodded at him. Duan Lingtian, I heard about you when I came out of seclusion some time ago. I wanted to exchange pointers with you, but I didn't expect you to come out of seclusion only today. In front of Duan Lingtian, Ho Qingning didn't seem to be afraid of strangers at all. Although I know I'm definitely not your opponent, as someone who also comprehended the law of space, I still want to exchange pointers with you and see what I'm lacking in. After all, this is the first time I, Ho Qingning, have met someone younger than me who has also comprehended the law of space and is stronger than me. Ho Qingning couldn't help but shake his head and sigh. You won't refuse to exchange pointers with me just because I'm not as strong as you, right? Before Duan Lingtian could speak, Ho Qingning asked again. Let's wait until the trial ends. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly and said, if you want to exchange pointers, I'll exchange pointers with you when the time comes. Although Duan Lingtian had just met Ho Qingning, he had a good impression of Ho Qingning from their interactions today and Lu Jin's introduction in the past. Therefore he did not reject Ho Qingning's request. That's settled then. Ho Qingning's eyes lit up when he heard this. I'll look for you when the trial ends. As soon as Ho Qingning finished speaking, he turned around and left. Duan Lingtian could sense a cold gaze staring at him from the direction Ho Qingning left. He didn't have to look to know who it was. It was none other than Chong Keki, the direct descendant of the Chong clan who had lost to him without even fighting. He was the crown prince of the Chong clan. Currently, Chong Keki was standing there with Chong Heyang, the direct descendant of the Chong clan whom Duan Lingtian had met before. Chong Heyang had once represented the Chong clan in the 10 Stars Temple to recruit him. He had even threatened Duan Lingtian on behalf of the Chong clan. Duan Lingtian would either join the Chong clan and swear a heart demon blood oath to be loyal to the Chong clan or die. Very good. Everyone is here. At the same time, a loud voice resonated in the air. Accompanying the voice was a figure that was as sturdy as a tower. It was a young man with a dignified appearance and a cold expression. He was more than 2 meters tall, and he seemed to have appeared out of thin air in front of Duan Lingtian and the others. Duan Lingtian, today should be your first time meeting teacher Yu Qianshan, right? Ding Yan, who was standing next to Duan Lingtian, asked when the newcomer appeared. Yes. Duan Lingtian nodded. He had seen many teachers since he entered the Hidden Fog Academy, but he had never seen this burly young man in front of him. However, this burly young man gave him a dangerous feeling. He felt more dangerous than any teacher he had seen since he came to the 10-star dormitory. He even gave him an unfathomable feeling. Teacher Yu Qianshan is one of the more powerful teachers in our Hidden Fog Academy. His strength is second only to the Dean. It is said that he is on par with Teacher Yun Hui and Teacher Tang Hao. Ding Yan continued, and in our Hidden Fog Academy, they are recognized as the 3 strongest teachers under the Dean. They are all High God Kings. Usually you can't see him. He only appears when the 10-star students are in the trial and takes us to the trial grounds. He personally leads the team to ensure the safety of the 10-star students. After all, the 10-star students of the Hidden Fog Academy are equivalent to the inner sect disciples of the Hidden Fog sect. For the Hidden Fog Academy and the Hidden Fog sect, they cannot afford to lose you. I wish those God King clans would send their God King experts to kill you. At that time they would be killed by Teacher Yu Qianshan before they could even find you. The corners of Ding Yan's mouth curled into a mocking smile when he reached the end of his sentence. He was mocking the God Kings of the God King clans. Yu Qianshan. When Duan Lingtian's gaze fell on Yu Qianshan also happened to be looking at him. Yu Qianshan smiled and nodded at him. Obviously Yu Qianshan already knew of his existence. Then Yu Qianshan said in a clear voice, I heard that there is an amazing new student among the 10-star students. His strength is recognized as the strongest in the Hidden Fog Academy. When Yu Qianshan said this, almost all the 10-star students' gazes fell on Duan Lingtian. However, don't be discouraged. Yu Qianshan continued, although the new student is strong, he is still a new student. He has never participated in the 10-star trial. In this regard, his experience is not as good as yours. So, it is not impossible for you to defeat him in this trial. After all, the trial rankings are based on trial points, not strength. As soon as Yu Qianshan said this, many people's eyes lit up. Especially Hong Jun, Ho Qingning, He Yiping and the others. At this time their eyes shone brightly. They were looking forward to surpassing Duan Lingtian in the 10-star trial. When the other 3 teachers arrive we will set off. Yu Qianshan said again, now let's wait for a while. Although Yu Qianshan asked Duan Lingtian and the others to wait, they did not have to wait for long. In less than 10 breaths of time the other 3 teachers arrived. These 3 teachers were also unfamiliar faces to Duan Lingtian. Let's go. Following Yu Qianshan's order, the group of a few dozen people stepped into the air and left the Hidden Fog Academy. They left Tianfeng City. Yu Qianshan took the lead and opened up a path in front. Meanwhile, the other 3 Hidden Mist Academy teachers stood guard in 3 other directions, one on the left, one on the right, and one on the back. They protected Duanling Tian and the rest of the 10-star students. Is Duanling Tian? After leaving Skywind City, the 3 Hidden Fog Academy's teachers learned about Duanling Tian, who had recently become famous in the Hidden Fog Academy. Their gazes landed on Duanling Tian from time to time. Their gazes were different from one another. One of the gazes gave Duanling Tian an uncomfortable feeling. Although there was no obvious hostility, it was completely different from the other 2 teachers of the Hidden Fog Academy. It was cold and indifferent. Is that teacher related to the Zhong family? Duanling Tian asked Ding Yan. At the same time, he pointed in one direction. Chapter 3649. At Duanling Tian's subtle gesture, Ding Yan casually glanced in that direction and asked, "How do you know? I feel like he looks at me differently from the other 2 teachers." Duanling Tian revealed his discovery. That's teacher Zhu Chun. His wife and the 3rd master of the Chong family's wife are sisters. Because of this, he's very close to the Chong family. It can even be said that he's half a member of the Chong family. Ding Yan said. When Duanling Tian heard this, realization dawned on him. If that was the case, then everything would make sense. However, don't worry. Although he has a good relationship with the Zhong clan, he won't dare to mess around under Master Yu Qianshan's nose unless he has a death wish. At most, he'll send a message to the Zhong clan. Even without him, Zhong Kuqi and Zhong Heliang can do that. Ding Yan continued to say. All right. Duanling Tian nodded. Duanling Tian. Suddenly, a voice transmission rang in Duanling Tian's ears. It was from Ho Qingning, who was also staying in the 10-star high-grade dormitory and had an extraordinary background. The Zhong clan will definitely do something to you in the 10-star trial this time. Before I came, I've already informed the elders in my sect to bring people to the vicinity of the trial site. They can go in and protect you at any time. Do you need my help? After all, I don't want anything to happen to you, Duanling Tian. If that's the case, I'll have one less opponent to spar with. Duanling Tian did not expect Ho Qingning to send him a voice transmission. After all, he had only met Duanling Tian once. He had only agreed to spar with Duanling Tian after the trial. How could Duanling Tian make such an arrangement based on this? Thank you. Although he was surprised, Duanling Tian still rejected Ho Qingning's good intentions. However, I think I can solve this matter myself. If he asked Ho Qingning for help, he could further conceal himself and keep a low profile. However, if he did that, he would definitely owe Ho Qingning a favor, and even the sect behind Ho Qingning would owe him a favor. If it wasn't necessary, he didn't want to do this. Moreover, even if he revealed his strength this time, he would be careful and not expose his trump card. Even if he did this, he would be valued by the Hidden Fog Academy and the Hidden Fog sect. Although he wanted to keep a low profile and not attract too much attention, which would cause him to fall into the situation of, the tallest tree in the forest will be the first to be destroyed by the wind, he also knew that the benefits of keeping a high profile outweighed the disadvantages. As long as the balance between the two was properly grasped, it would be enough. All right. Ho Qingning nodded. Then I'll have them go back. He didn't say anything else. Whatever Duanling Tian said, he was decisive and straightforward. This also made Duanling Tian have a better impression of him. After all, they were strangers. Even if Duanling Tian didn't fear the Zhong family, it was still very rare for him to do this. Duanling Tian, we're about to reach the trial grounds. Remember what I said and follow me. After following Duanling Tian for a while, the surrounding scenery changed several times. Ding Yan's sound transmission also reached Duanling Tian's ears. No need. Duanling Tian rejected Ding Yan's good intentions again. At the same time, he felt a little helpless. If only Ding Yan was as straightforward as Ho Qingning. He had rejected him many times, but Ding Yan was like a dog's skin plaster sticking to him. Of course, he couldn't turn hostile. After all, Ding Yan was doing this for his own good. However, there were some things he couldn't explain. He couldn't possibly tell Ding Yan that even the higher deities sent by the Chong family would most likely die in his hands if they fought against him, right? What qualifications did he have to say that? Even the most outstanding middle deities of the Hidden Fog sect wouldn't be able to accomplish this. This was a little too high profile. We've arrived. When Duanling Tian and the others arrived in the air above a forest and mountain range, Yu Qianshan brought Duanling Tian and the others to a stop. At the same time he turned and looked at Duanling Tian and the others. Now, I will give you the point tokens. As usual, make the point token recognize you as its master. As for the point token, once it recognizes you as its master, it cannot be removed. If you die, the point token will disappear. Normally speaking, the trial of a 10-star student shouldn't be a threat to your life. What is being tested is the speed at which you hunt monster beasts. If you encounter powerful monster beasts, even if you can't defeat them, you can still escape unscathed. Of course, if you are really unlucky and encounter a large number of monster beasts, you can choose to crush your point tokens. At that time, I will rush over and save you. After listening to Yu Qianshan's words, Duanling Tian looked at Ding Yan who was standing next to him and asked through voice transmission, since crushing the accumulative point token can get teacher Yu Qianshan to kill me, why would the Zhong clan send someone to kill me? Aren't they afraid I'll crush my point token? Ding Yan shook his head in response to Duanling Tian's question. He replied with a voice transmission, you're overthinking it. If the Zhong clan intended to kill you in there, they would have brought along a formation plate and activated a formation to block the connection between Yu Qianshan and the accumulative points medallion. Even if they didn't use the formation plate to block the connection between Yu Qianshan and the accumulative points medallion, they could have asked the students related to the Zhong clan to crush the accumulative points medallion and lure Yu Qianshan over. And they will make a move on you at that time. Ding Yan said, a God King clan like the Zhong family will definitely leave a way out for themselves. To them all they have to do is to kill you. They don't care about the lives of the higher gods sent by the Zhong family. In fact, those higher gods might even be sacrificial warriors that they have reared. They might have sworn a heart demon blood oath to be loyal to the Zhong family. In the realms of gods, the heart demon blood oath could make anyone pale. If one swore a heart demon blood oath in other realms as long as one was not in the realms of gods, nothing would happen to them. However, if one swore a heart demon blood oath in the realms of gods, one would be directly linked to a supreme expert. If one were to violate the oath, one would be hunted down by the supreme expert's subordinates. Even a god would not be able to escape death. For some powerful ultimate gods, the ultimate god subordinates might not have the ability to kill them. However, under such circumstances, the matter would not end just because of the ultimate god's strength. The ultimate gods would personally make a move and kill the ultimate gods. Violating a heart demon blood oath was equivalent to blasphemy against the supreme expert. It was something the supreme expert would not tolerate. In the realms of gods, the supreme expert was like a law. As long as one did not violate the law, everything would be fine. However, if one did, one would be punished by the supreme expert. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. As Yu Qianshan raised his hand, token after token flew out and hovered in front of the 10-star students, including Duanling Tian, waiting for them to collect it. Duanling Tian took the token and dripped his blood on it to claim ownership. Go. Yu Qianshan's voice fell. Then a 10-star student stepped out from the crowd. His figure flashed and disappeared into the forest and the mountain range below. The mountain range was full of twists and turns, and the forest stretched as far as the eye could see. The Hidden Fog Academy's 10-star students' trial covered a large area in front of them. Duanling Tian, I'll go first. After Ho Qingning bade farewell to Duanling Tian, he followed Duanling Tian and entered the mountain range below. Soon after, his figure disappeared into the mountain range. Let's go as well. Ding Yan called out to Duanling Tian before the two of them flew into the forest below. However, as soon as they entered the forest, Ding Yan noticed that Duanling Tian had disappeared into thin air. This is bad. At this moment, Ding Yan finally regained his senses. Duanling Tian had no intention of leaving with him at all. That guy. Is he really not afraid of death? Ding Yan was flustered and exasperated. He did not have many friends in the Hidden Fog Academy. However, Duanling Tian had shown mercy when they fought. He did not injure or even kill him. Ding Yan was very grateful to him and treated Duanling Tian as his friend. This was also the reason why he became close to Duanling Tian. One could imagine what it would be like for a person who didn't have many friends before to suddenly have a friend that he recognized. Sometimes Duanling Tian could not handle Ding Yan's enthusiasm. Just like this time, Ding Yan insisted on staying by Duanling Tian's side. Duanling Tian had tried to reject him a few times but to no avail. In the end he could not be bothered to reject Ding Yan. It was not that he did not believe Ding Yan's words. Ding Yan had said many times that as long as he followed him, he would not be in danger. He also thought that Ding Yan might really have an extraordinary identity. However, he did not want to owe Ding Yan a favor. Just like how he did not want to owe Ho Qingning and the God King level sect behind him. This was because he felt that he could solve this matter by himself. The 10-star trial is to hunt demonic beasts in the trial ground. After killing the demonic beast, immediately let the token touch the fresh blood of the demonic beast to gain points. If you think some parts of the demonic beast's body are valuable, you can take them. The 10-star trial is to test your speed in hunting demonic beasts and how to deal with all kinds of demonic beast attacks. Some demonic beasts like to attack humans in groups. Although these demonic beasts are not necessarily a threat to our lives, not many people are willing to encounter them. Once you encounter them, it is equivalent to wasting a lot of time on them, whether it is to kill them or to escape from under their noses. Before entering the 10-star trial ground, Duan Lingtian learned the specific rules and procedures of the trial from Ding Yen. He knew what to do and what to avoid after entering the trial ground. I just received a message from young Master Qi. Duan Lingtian has entered. In the depths of a mountain forest, ghostly figures that seemed to be hidden in the shadows appeared under the lead of a skinny figure. Chapter 3650. The skinny figure in the lead was an old man with an aged face. His eyes gleamed with the light of a wolf, as if he was about to devour someone. Among the dozen or so people following behind him, there were young men and middle-aged men. Each and every one of them exuded a cold and bloodthirsty aura. When they gathered together, they did not seem like a group of humans but more like a pack of wolves. The skinny old man was the king of this pack of wolves. Search for the target immediately. At the same time, don't alert the others. Once you find the target, inform the others immediately. When almost everyone has arrived, attack at my command and try to kill him in one blow. That Duan Lingtian may only be an intermediate deity, but none of you are a match for him in a one-on-one fight. The skinny old man said indifferently, now spread out and search for the target. Yes. The dozen or so people responded in unison. It was as if they had discussed this beforehand. None of them spoke too soon or too late. As soon as they finished speaking, they split up and flew off in different directions. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared into the depths of the forest and mountain range like fish returning to the sea. If anyone were here, they would definitely be very surprised. This was because these people were like natural-born hunters. They wandered in the forest and mountain range. No matter what it was, they could cleverly use it as a cover. Even if one was very close to them, it would not be easy to discover them without using divine consciousness. These people were the men of sacrifice raised by the Zhong clan, a god-king-level clan in Tianfeng City. They were specially trained to solve some of the clandestine matters of the Zhong clan. At the same time, in a few other places, there were also several groups of people spreading out in all directions. There were only 5 or 6 people in each of these groups. They were not as many as the Zhong clan, but all of them exuded a bloodthirsty and cold aura. These people were from the other clans in Tianfeng City. Even the Zhou clan had sent men of sacrifice. They had also sent men of sacrifice to kill Duan Lingtian. However, their reason for killing Duan Lingtian was completely different from the Zhong families. The Zhong family wanted to kill the Duan Lingtian because of the enmity between the Duan Lingtian and the Zhong family. If they didn't kill the Duan Lingtian would become a hidden danger to the Zhong family in the future. As for the other God King level clans that wanted to kill Duan Lingtian wanted to shift the blame onto the Zhong clan. At the same time, killing a young genius who was about to rise but was unwilling to be used by them was a good thing for them, not a bad thing. They were happy to see this happen. Looks like the Zhong clan isn't the only one who sent people here. Yu Qianshan, who was hovering in the air above the vast forest, withdrew his soul consciousness that had covered a large area of the forest below and shook his head slightly. The trial grounds for the 10-star students were huge. Even though he was a high god king and his soul consciousness could cover a large area, he could only cover a corner of the 10-star students' trial grounds. He couldn't cover the entire trial grounds. Not long after Duan Lingtian entered the forest, he discovered that Duan Lingtian had disappeared from the range of his soul consciousness. He was no longer able to lock onto Duan Lingtian's whereabouts. However, he could still sense the changes in the forest. But now that he had withdrawn his soul consciousness, he didn't seem to have any plans for the next step. Elder Qianshan, a teacher standing not far from Yu Qianshan, heard his words. Just as he opened his mouth to speak, he was interrupted by Yu Qianshan frowning. How many times have I told you? Right now, you and I are no longer in the Hidden Fog sect. We are in the Hidden Fog Academy, so you don't need to call me Elder something. Within the academy, there is a name for you. As he spoke, Yu Qianshan's tone became somewhat impatient. Yes, teacher, you. The teacher bitterly smiled. Then he straightened his face and said, That Duan Lingtian participating in this trial is quite dangerous. Are we really going to stand guard here and do nothing? Who said we're not going to do anything? Yu Qianshan lightly said, we're going to stand guard here. If a god king trespasses into the trial grounds, we'll be the first to discover it. At that time, we'll take action and kill that reckless god king. After saying this, Yu Qianshan looked at another teacher not far away. Teacher Zhu Chun, don't you agree? Ah. Zhu Chun was clearly thinking about something. When he heard Yu Qianshan call him, he hurriedly came back to his senses. He looked at Yu Qianshan with awe and nervousness. Yes, teacher Yu is right. Although he didn't hear what Yu Qianshan said, did he want to hear it? He didn't need to. Although they were both teachers of the Hidden Fog Academy, he still knew the difference in status between him and teacher Yu Qianshan. Yu Qianshan wasn't just a subordinate of the dean. Even in the Hidden Fog sect he also had a high position. The reason he came to the Hidden Fog Academy as a teacher was partly because he was bored and wanted to come out and relax. Unlike him, he came to the Hidden Fog Academy as a teacher so that when he returned to the sect in the future, he could have a good resume and be promoted. Teacher Zhu Chun. There was another teacher who had been silent all this time. Now, he looked at Zhu Chun deeply and said, this time the Zhong family should have sent many people to the trial grounds to kill Duan Lingtian, right? Zhu Chun's expression changed when he heard this. However, he immediately calmed down and shook his head. I don't know. But normally speaking, the Zhong family shouldn't be so bold. Shouldn't be. This teacher obviously didn't intend to let Zhu Chun go so easily. But just now, teacher Yu Qianshan clearly found many non-10-star students wandering around the trial ground. Aren't those people from the Zhong family? I don't know about this either. Zhu Chun shook his head. At the same time, he looked at Yu Qianshan and said, Teacher Yu, if you think those people's identities are suspicious, I can personally capture them and bring them to you so that you can interrogate them personally. Of course, Zhu Chun was just saying it casually. Because he knew that Yu Qianshan wouldn't let him do that. Even if other teachers were to go, they wouldn't let him go. After all, he had a close relationship with the Zhong family. They would definitely be worried that he would personally make a move on Duan Lingtian. No need. Sure enough, Zhu Chun guessed right. Yu Qianshan shook his head and said, You just wait here with us. Later, if someone crushes their token, you will come with me. Yu Qianshan's words obviously meant that he wanted to tie Zhu Chun to his side. Zhu Chun wasn't surprised by this and repeatedly said, Yes. Teacher Yu. The teacher who spoke first looked at Yu Qianshan and frowned slightly. What do you and the dean think? Not to mention the academy, even if placed in our sect, Duan Lingtian would still be considered an extremely outstanding genius. Don't you think it's too dangerous for him to participate in the 10-star trial? Don't tell me you and the dean want to see such a genius fall just like that? As soon as the teacher finished speaking, the other teacher and Zhu Chun turned to look at Yu Qianshan. Facing the gazes of the three people, Yu Qianshan said indifferently, He's not a 3-year-old child. He has his own thoughts. Since he chose to participate in the trial instead of complaining to the dean, it means that he has his own thoughts. He wants to participate in the 10-star trial this time. Under such circumstances, do you want me and the dean to beg him not to participate in the 10-star trial? Moreover, the dean and I are curious, where does his confidence come from? If he falls just like that, he'll become a drop in the ocean in the academy's long history. However, if he survives, it means he's not a simple person. The dean told me, if he survives and doesn't rely on any external forces, he'll consider letting him enter the sect in advance. He'll also recommend him to become a core disciple of the sect and enjoy the best treatment. As soon as Yu Qianshan said this, the three suddenly understood. As it turned out, the matter this time was a test the dean gave Duan Lingtian. Core disciple. The three of them looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. If Duan Lingtian really became a core disciple of the Hidden Fog sect, then in terms of status within the Hidden Fog sect, Duan Lingtian wouldn't be inferior to them. A core disciple was an existence that was on equal footing with inner sect elders like them. Moreover, in the Hidden Fog sect, there weren't many core disciples. There were never more than 100 of them. At this moment, Duan Lingtian, who was moving like a ghost in the forest and mountain range, was completely unaware that he had unknowingly moved around the forest and mountain range. He was in a predicament. Moreover, this predicament was one that the dean of the Hidden Fog Academy had tacitly agreed to. At the same time, the Hidden Fog Academy didn't intend to help him. Of course, it wasn't that they didn't want to help. At the very least, the Hidden Fog Academy wouldn't let the God King powerhouses attack him. As for the God Spirit Realm existences, the Hidden Fog Academy didn't care. No matter how many of them there were, how strong they were, how they attacked Duan Tian, the Hidden Fog Academy didn't intend to interfere. Although Duan Tian was a genius and no one in the Hidden Fog Academy could surpass him in the Hidden Fog sect, there were many people who could compete with him or even surpass him. Because of this, the Hidden Fog Academy could afford to lose such a genius and the Hidden Fog sect couldn't afford to lose him. Oh, 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 oh. Duan Tian's figure swept through the forest in the mountain range like a gust of wind. All the demon beasts he encountered, no matter how big or small they were, all of them quickly fell to the ground. None of the demon beasts could survive for more than a breath in front of him. Now, Duan Tian not only used the fusion of the three profundities of the law of space, but he also took out a divine tool. Of course, it was just an ordinary low-grade divine tool without a soul. It was a sword. The sword flew out like a dragon. Every time it flew out, it would take the life of a monster. In this way, after wandering for many days, Duan Tian couldn't remember how many monster beasts he had killed. He even felt a little numb to it. On this day, Duan Tian seemed to have sensed something. His eyes flashed as he came to a halt. The corners of his mouth curled up. "You've finally found me?" Chapter 3651. Duan Tian was not in a hurry to change his location when he noticed the figure spying on him in the dark. Instead, he wandered around the area. After confirming that the other party had locked onto him and was tailing him, he gradually confirmed the other party's identity. They should be the men of sacrifice sent by the Zhong clan and the other God King level clans in Tianfeng City. Although the other party was a higher deity and had hidden himself well, Duan Tian had a wealth of anti-tracking experience from his past life. His life as a weapons specialist had given him a unique understanding of anti-tracking. This was something that could not be given to him in this life. He discovered the other party not because the other party's aura was exposed, but because the other party's movements left behind some fine traces, so fine that ordinary people would not be able to detect them. There are two of them, there are three of them. When Duan Tian noticed that there were already three people gathered around him, he knew that the first person was contacting the others. Still not planning to make a move? However, even if there were three of them, they still did not plan to make a move. Now, the others should be on their way here. At this moment it was not difficult for Duan Tian to guess this. Since that's the case, there's no need to keep them alive. Whoosh! Duan Tian's figure flashed again. With a teleportation he disappeared from where he was. Just as the three people hiding behind a large tree were stunned and began to look around for Duan Tian's whereabouts, a voice came from above them. "Are you looking for me?" At this moment, a purple figure stood above the three people with his hands behind his back. He looked at them mockingly, and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly in a faint smile. "Do it." The moment they noticed Duan Tian, the three people looked at each other. Then, in the next instant, divine power erupted from their bodies. They merged three different laws of nature and soared into the sky, directly attacking Duan Tian. Two young men and one middle-aged man had bloodthirsty eyes. Each of them had a low-grade divine artifact in their hands. Some were sabers, some were swords. Now they attacked together, attacking Duan Tian. Moreover, they used killing moves right from the start. Obviously, he wanted to kill Duan Tian with a single blow, leaving no room for negotiation. Too weak. The moment the three attacked, Duan Tian discovered that although they were all higher deities, they had only comprehended the mysteries of certain laws of nature to the phenomenal realm and had yet to come into contact with the fused mysteries. Even though they had the advantage of divine energy, it was not enough to make up for their advantage in the laws of nature in front of his son. For this reason, as soon as Duan Tian thrust his sword out, a terrifying spatial storm swept out and fell from the sky. In just a blink of an eye, the spatial storm had engulfed the three of them as well. In the next instant, the three people's attacks were completely annihilated by the spatial storm that Duan Tian's sword had created. Then, the three people's figures were shredded into a bloody mist by the spatial storm that had depleted part of its energy. Even the spatial rings in their hands were completely destroyed in the process. Only their divine artifacts remained intact. To think that they self-destructed their spatial rings. What a pity! After killing the three people, Duan Tian calmly put away the three low-grade divine artifacts. He felt it was a pity that the three spatial rings had been destroyed. However, he knew that the three spatial rings were special. They would self-destruct when their owners died. Such spatial rings could only be found in the realms of gods. In other words, only divine weaponsmiths in the realms of gods could refine such self-destructing spatial rings. Once the storage ring was destroyed, The items inside would be swept into the spatial turbulence. They might be scattered and lost in some corner of the world, or they might remain in the spatial turbulence forever, drifting about in there. The appearance of this kind of storage ring was also to prevent the enemy from obtaining everything inside the storage ring. In the realms of gods, those who were qualified would use such spatial rings. There should be more people on their way here. Instead of waiting for them here, it's better for me to search for them and take them out one by one. That way, I won't have to face them head-on and I won't have to reveal my trump card. With this thought in mind, Duan Ling Tian made his move again. Before Duan Ling Tian came to the trial land, he had already planned to fight a group of people by himself and reveal some of his trump cards to fight the Zhong family members who wanted to kill him. However, he discovered the reality was different from what he had imagined. He did not travel with anyone. It would be difficult for the Zhong clan members to find him in this vast and boundless trial ground. Under normal circumstances, they would have to spread out and search for him. The 3 people who had met up with him earlier told him this. You want to kill me but you're still so careless? Why are you sending me out one by one? Duan Ling Tian had a cold smile on his face as his figure flashed out. Fortunately, Duan Ling Tian's words were not heard by the people from the God King clans in Wind City who wanted to kill him in the trial ground. Otherwise they would have vomited blood. Do you think we want to kill you? If this place is not so big, do you think we'd spread out to look for you? Who knew your anti-tracking ability is so strong? Even a higher deity with a cultivation base 1 level higher than yours would be discovered by you. Just like that. Duan Ling Tian began his performance. He did not go far. Instead, he searched the area in a circular formation. It did not take long before he spotted 2 people. Before the 2 people could meet up, he had already killed them. He killed one person with a swing of his sword without leaving a trace. Just like that, after approximately 15 minutes, 13 people had already died in Duan Ling Tian's hands. When another person approached, Duan Ling Tian sensed that the other party was not simple. The aura this person gave off was different from the others who had died in his hands. This old fellow seems to be stronger. Was a skinny old man. He also gave off a bloodthirsty aura, and his eyes were extremely cold. Who is it? Duan Ling Tian had just teleported nearby when he heard the old man's shout. At the same time, the old man made a move at lightning speed. A golden saber ray swept toward him and directly cut the gigantic tree that was hiding his figure. When the huge tree fell, Duan Ling Tian no longer hid himself and showed himself openly. The moment Duan Ling Tian appeared, the old man stared at Duan Ling Tian and asked suspiciously, You are Duan Ling Tian? So many of you came to look for me. Don't tell me none of you know what I look like? Duan Ling Tian said indifferently. Hearing Duan Ling Tian's words, the old man's expression changed greatly. At the same time, he subconsciously sent out messages one after another. However, he found that out of the 16 messages, only 3 replied. The other 13 did not reply. The messages he sent to them were like stones sinking into the sea. My 13 subordinates were killed by you? The old man looked at Duan Ling Tian with a solemn expression and asked in a deep voice. Since Duan Ling Tian had appeared here, coupled with the fact that there was no news of 13 of his 16 subordinates, he could faintly guess that they had all been killed. Moreover, it was this person who had killed them. It seems that more than a dozen people died by my hands. They were not students of our hidden fog academy. Were they your people? Duan Ling Tian asked with a faint smile. It seems that I underestimated you. The old man looked deeply at Duan Ling Tian. How did they die by your hands? In the old man's opinion, this was a crucial question. If all 13 of his subordinates attacked together and were killed by Duan Ling Tian, he might have to think of a way to retreat. After all, even he did not dare to say that he could escape unscathed under the joint attack of his 13 subordinates. If Duan Ling Tian had that kind of strength, he would not be able to contend with him. Although he was a man of sacrifice, he still had his own thoughts. Even if he could not betray the Zhong family because of the heart demon blood oath, he could still return to the Zhong family after escaping and informing them. Moreover, once it was confirmed that Duan Ling Tian was stronger than him, he would not be sent to deal with Duan Ling Tian. Even if he was sent, he would definitely find a helper for him. They were too scattered, so I killed them one by one. Duan Ling Tian did not think too much about it and told the old man the truth. Then, he narrowed his eyes and stared at the old man in front of him. You're the next one. The old man sighed in relief when Duan Ling Tian said that he had killed all 13 of his subordinates one by one. However, when he heard Duan Ling Tian's words, he could not help but laugh. Duan Ling Tian, I admit that you're quite strong. However, do you think you can kill me with your strength? I'm not like those useless people. As soon as the old man finished speaking, divine energy surged from his body. Then, a dazzling golden light shone as the profundities from the law of metal appeared. Most importantly, the two profundities of the law of metal had fused together perfectly during this process. Moreover, the profundities from the law of metal merged with two other profundities from the law of metal. It was obvious that the old man had mastered the fusion of three profundities from the law of metal. Coupled with his cultivation base as a higher deity, it was no wonder that he was not afraid of Duanlingtian. Duanlingtian, if you were a higher deity, I would have no choice but to turn tail and flee today. It's just a shame that you're just an intermediate deity. Even if you've comprehended one of the four supreme laws of nature and fused three types of profound meaning in spatial laws of nature, you'll still be hard-pressed to escape death today. The moment his words left his mouth, the old man made his move without any warning. Streaks of dazzling golden light shot out like lightsabers in all directions as they charged toward Duanlingtian. As for himself, he also set off. A long saber appeared in the old man's hand. It was a divine weapon. The long saber was straight and golden light flashed. It tore through the air as if it could destroy everything. You dare to attack me with just this little bit of strength? Duanlingtian stood where he was without moving until the old man's attack and the old man's saber were right in front of him. Only then did he speak unhurriedly with a hint of disdain at the corners of his mouth. The next moment. Control. With just a thought, Duanlingtian took control of the space around him. This was also the first time Duanlingtian had used the Tao of Control, one of the four Taos of heaven and earth, in a fight since he came to the mystic ganglands in the plains of gods. Chapter 3652. Duanlingtian's attack was so sudden that the old man did not have time to react. He thought that he could gain the initiative by striking first and kill Duanlingtian as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. However, he did not expect that the moment he approached Duanlingtian, a terrifying spatial storm suddenly appeared in the entire area, making the entire area seem like a personal space that Duanlingtian completely dominated. As for his attack, it was instantly annihilated in that space. Then, before he could react and stop, he had already entered this space. The next moment he found that his body was no longer under his control. Then he released his divine sense and watched his body shatter into pieces. Then, when he reached his soul, his divine sense was gradually annihilated as well. Until the moment before his death, he did not know what had happened. You're pretty strong, but it's a pity that you met me. After killing the old man, Duanlingtian put away his divine weapon and shook his head. If it were any of the other 10-star students of the Hidden Fog Academy, even the strongest 5 Hongjun and the others, they would have died without a doubt. The old man's strength was completely incomparable to the people he had killed before. In fact, even if he wanted to kill the old man without using any of the four Taos of heaven and earth, it would be difficult for him to use only the triple fused profundity from the law of space. Unless he used 2 or more triple fused profundities or fused all 4 profundities. However, these were his trump cards. In addition, if he attacked like that, it would give his opponent a chance to send out a message and expose his strength. Now that he had used the Tao of Control of the four Taos of heaven and earth, even if someone was watching in the dark, it would be difficult for them to guess that he had used the Tao of Control. They would think that he had some special means. In addition, the sudden appearance of the Tao of Control gave his opponent no chance to send out a message. After all, his opponent would have died if he had approached. It's a pity that he also used a self-destructing spatial ring. Otherwise, with his strength, there would be a lot of good things in his spatial ring. Duanlingtian sighed and continued to patrol the surroundings. In the next 2 days he found 3 more people sneaking around. Their auras were no different from the 14 people he had killed before, including the old man he had killed 2 days ago. They should be together. If I'm not mistaken, they must be from the Chong family. Only the Chong family would be able to send so many men to kill him. Even if the other God King level family clans in Skywind City sent people to deal with him, it was impossible for them to send such a large force. The Chong family should have sent these 17 people. After wandering around for another 2 days, Duanlingtian confirmed that no one else would come. He left the area and continued his journey of killing demonic beasts. Even if he didn't use his full strength, killing the demonic beasts in this training ground was still as easy as chopping vegetables. Up until now, no demonic beast had been able to force him to use a second sword strike. The points in his points token were also increasing at an exaggerated rate. The difference in strength is too great. Even if it's Hongjun, if I want to kill him, I only need to use the strength I showed him before. Coupled with the divine weapon, I only need to use 1 or 2 sword strikes. In the training ground, the demonic beasts Duan Lingtian could kill with a single sword strike weren't weak. Among them, there were some demonic beasts that even Hong Jun and the other 4 Duan Lingtian, who were recognized as the strongest in the Hidden Fog Academy before entering, would find it difficult to deal with. But in front of Duan Lingtian, they weren't even worth mentioning. These demonic beasts were arranged by the Hidden Fog sect in advance. At that time, Duan Lingtian hadn't entered the Hidden Fog Academy yet. The demonic beasts arranged by the Hidden Fog sect were arranged according to the strength of the Hidden Fog Academy's 10-star students. Because of this, they only arranged demonic beasts that could threaten Hong Jun and the other 4. They didn't arrange any demonic beasts that could threaten Duan Lingtian. In this case, Duan Lingtian was like a fish in water. Skywind City. Zhong family's mansion. Although it was broad daylight, the Zhong family's meeting hall was still full of people. Third brother, why did you call us here in such a hurry? Did something happen? Zhong Si had just returned from the restaurant he was in charge of. He looked at Zhong San, who was sitting on the other side of the main seat, and asked with a dignified expression, "Today is the day of the Hidden Fog Academy's 10-star students' trial. Could it be that something happened to those men of sacrifice?" The Zhong family's upper echelons also looked at Zhong San at this time. Their eyes were filled with surprise and uncertainty. They were all wiped out. Finally, Zhong San spoke. As soon as he spoke, it was like an earth-shattering earthquake. Everyone, including Zhong Si, was shocked into silence. Their faces were dull and they couldn't recover for a long time. They were all wiped out? Their Zhong family had sent out 17 men of sacrifice this time. One of the men of sacrifice was one of the 3 leaders of the men of sacrifice trained by their Zhong family. His strength was even close to that of Zhong Si, the 4th master of the Zhong family. Did the Hidden Fog Academy make a move? Zhong Si was the first to recover and asked with a dignified expression. No. Zhong San shook his head. When the others looked over again, Zhong San shook his head and said, Elder Zhu Chun sent a message saying that the Dean of the Hidden Fog Academy has taken this 10-star student trial as a test for Duan Lingtian. If Duan Lingtian can pass without relying on external forces, he will make an exception and recommend Duan Lingtian to enter the Hidden Fog sect ahead of time and become a core disciple. Core disciple. As soon as Zhong San said this, the entire audience went into an uproar. Core disciple? That Duan Lingtian, how could he have such potential? How could he? Ever since the Hidden Fog sect was established, there had never been more than 100 core disciples. The core disciples of the Hidden Fog sect were all under 10,000 years old. Once they were over 10,000 years old, they would be removed from the list of core disciples. As long as these people stayed in the Hidden Fog sect, they could directly become a core elder of the Hidden Fog sect. They could also choose to join the God Emperor level influence that the Hidden Fog sect was attached to. However, their status in that God Emperor level influence was definitely inferior to the Hidden Fog sect. Even so, they could obtain better cultivation resources and environments. After all, there was a great disparity between a God Emperor level influence and a God Emperor level influence. Because of this, it could be seen just how high the status of a core disciple of the Hidden Fog sect was. Once one became a core disciple of the Hidden Fog sect, that was the same as obtaining a pass to enter a God Emperor level influence. Even if one didn't have a high status after entering a God Emperor level influence, it was still a God Emperor level influence. For someone from a God Emperor level influence, even if they were an ordinary elder with a low status, a God Emperor level influence still wouldn't dare to move against them, much less a God King level family like their Zhong family. He must have borrowed some external strength. With just his own strength, he wants to exterminate the 17 death warriors of our Zhong family led by blood too? That's impossible. Zhong San said with absolute certainty, his tone resolute and decisive. I hope so. Zhong San nodded. Although his complexion eased, it was still dignified. But even if he didn't do it himself, that means someone is helping him. It looks like wanting to kill this Duan Lingtian won't be easy. Helping him? Who's helping him? Zhong Si frowned. Zhong San's gaze deepened as he heard this, and he said in a deep voice, I heard from Zhu Chun that Ho Qingning seems to have the intention of befriending him. Today, before the start of the Hidden Fog Academy's 10-star trial, the 10,000 Leaves sect's 5th elder, Qin Feng, who is stationed in Tianfeng City all year round, left Tianfeng City with some people. The direction they went is the direction of the Hidden Fog Academy's 10-star trial. The 10,000 Leaves sect was a God King level sect. It was stronger than the Zhong family. And Ho Qingning was the 10,000 Leaves sect's young sect master. For the sake of Ho Qingning, the 10,000 Leaves sect's young sect master, the 10,000 Leaves sect had even sent the low-level God King Fifth Elder to guard Tianfeng City all year round to protect Ho Qingning, the young sect master. 10,000 Leaves sect? Zhongxi frowned. Then, his face seemed to be covered with a layer of frost. What's wrong with that Ho Qingning? He knows that Duan Lingtian doesn't get along with our Zhong family, yet he still wants to befriend him. Is he trying to make things difficult for our Zhong family? That I don't know. Zhong San shook his head. If it was the 10,000 Leaves sect that did it, could it be? Are we just going to let it go like this? Zhongxi asked in a deep voice. Of course not. Zhong San's eyes gleamed coldly. Although the 10,000 Leaves sect is stronger than our Zhong family, as the saying goes, even a powerful dragon cannot suppress a snake in its own territory. Since they dared to make a move against our Zhong family is not to be trifled with. If they really push our Zhong family too far, our Zhong family will do something that will make them regret it greatly. Towards the end, Zhong San's tone also revealed a burst of ruthlessness. However, the moment Zhong San finished speaking, he couldn't help but frown as if he had suddenly realized something. What's wrong, third brother? Zhongxi, who had been staring at Zhong San, couldn't help but ask. When Zhong San heard this, he said with an odd expression, I just received a message. The 10,000 Leaves sect, led by 5th Elder Qin Feng, returned to Tianfeng City on the same day that the leader of our Zhong family's loyalists, Blood 2's soul pearl shattered. Among those from the 10,000 Leaves sect, only Qin Feng had the ability to kill Blood 2. The moment Zhong San said this, the Zhong family's discussion hall went into an uproar. Does this mean that the deaths of Blood 2 and the rest of the loyalists have nothing to do with the 10,000 Leaves sect? If that's the case, the 10,000 Leaves sect can be eliminated as a suspect. If it's not the 10,000 Leaves sect, who could it be? Could it be that the loyalists of the other God King families in Tianfeng City joined hands and killed Blood 2 and the rest? Impossible. If it was them, Blood 2 and the others wouldn't have been unable to send back a message in time. It is clear that their deaths were completely sudden, to the extent that they didn't have time to send a message. The person who killed them most likely did it by surprise. Just as the upper echelons of the Zhong family were wondering who had killed the Zhong family's men of sacrifice, the other God Monarch grade families in Tianfeng City also discovered that some of the men of sacrifice they had sent out had started to die. Chapter 3653. It's not just a group of people? It seems like the rest are kamikaze warriors from other God King clans in Tianfeng City. After killing all of the Zhong clan's death warriors, Duan Lingtian continued to hunt for demon beasts. At this time he discovered someone spying on him. That person also contacted someone to come over. In the end, all of them died in his hands. However, after killing a few people, he discovered that no one else came. It's most likely that they only have so few people. Or perhaps, someone discovered that their soul pearls had shattered and warned them. Duan Lingtian thought to himself. Later on, Duan Lingtian encountered another wave of kamikaze warriors. They came one after another as well. He deliberately captured one of them and asked about his identity. However, that person ignored him and chose to commit suicide. He was very unyielding. Moreover, after that person, no other kamikaze warriors came. After that, he encountered 2 more groups of kamikaze warriors. The same thing happened. These kamikaze warriors probably didn't just swear a heart demon blood oath to be loyal to their clans. They must have relatives in their clans. If they betray their clans, their relatives won't have a good ending. Duan Lingtian was not surprised by the kamikaze warriors from the God King clans. However, he did not show any mercy during this process. The purpose of these kamikaze warriors was to kill him. If he did not have the strength, he would be the one to die. Therefore, he never thought of showing mercy. However, after the old man from the Zhong clan, who was suspected to be the leader of the kamikaze warriors, he did not encounter any more kamikaze warriors from the other God King clans in Tianfeng City. Other than a few people whom he deliberately showed mercy, the others were all killed by him with a single strike. After the kamikaze warriors from the God King clans died one after another at Duan Lingtian's hands, Duan Lingtian did not encounter any new faces along the way. Occasionally he would encounter a 10-star student from the Hidden Fog Academy. Senior Brother Duan. Senior Brother Duan. The 10-star students who saw Duan Lingtian were all respectful to Duan Lingtian. Although Duan Lingtian could only be considered as a new student in the Hidden Fog Academy compared to them, his strength far surpassed all the students in the academy. In this world where the strong were revered, the strong were the most important. Duan Ling Tian's strength had earned their respect. Duan Ling Tian smiled at these 10-star students who he did not know but were very enthusiastic. At the same time he thought, I don't know if I will encounter Zhong family's Zhong Kuchi. If I do I can kill him. The moment Duan Ling Tian thought of this, a hint of killing intent flashed in his eyes. His face seemed to be covered with a layer of frost. In the past, when he robbed Zhong Kuchi's high-grade dormitory, he followed the rules of the Hidden Fog Academy. But now the Zhong family sent a kamikaze warrior to kill him. It could be said that this completely enraged him. If those kamikaze warriors had not appeared, he would not have thought of killing Zhong Kuchi. But now, if Zhong Kuchi appeared in front of him, he would not show mercy. The trial of a 10-star student? It seems that there is no rule that says that I cannot attack other 10-star students. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian's lips curled into a sneer. In fact, the reason why the Hidden Fog Academy did not set the rule that students were not allowed to kill each other during the trial was that it was difficult for any student to have the motive and reason to kill another student during the trial. This was because killing others would not give you any points. Instead, you would become enemies with the forces behind you. The gains did not make up for the losses. If there was a life and death conflict, it could be resolved in the Hidden Fog Academy or other places. There was no need to do it here. Zhong Kuchi did not know that he was being targeted by Duan Lingtian. However, he still received a message from the Zhong family. Zhong Kuchi, immediately take Zhong Kuliang and leave the trial of the Hidden Fog Academy's 10-star students. Do not stay there. Go back to Elder Zhu Chun. The message came from the Zhong family's third master, Zhong San. Third uncle? What? After receiving the message, Zhong Kuchi was naturally at a loss. He had no idea what was going on. Why was he asked to leave the trial with Zhong Kuliang? Now Zhong Kuliang was with Zhong Kuchi. After listening to Zhong Kuchi's message, he was also at a loss. Young Master Zhong Kuchi, did something happen? Could it be that Duan Lingtian is not dead? Thinking of this, Zhong Kuliang's face changed. Zhong Kuchi's face also changed completely in the next instant. He looked at Zhong Kuliang with a gloomy expression. You guessed right. Duan Lingtian is not dead. Not only is he not dead, but the 17 higher deity deathsworn that the Chong clan had sent over have all been wiped out. Among them is Grandpa Shui Heir. Zhong Kuchi said through gritted teeth. A hint of viciousness could be seen in his eyes. If I find out who's helping Duan Lingtian, I won't let them go. Could it be the 10,000 Leaves sect? I think Ho Qingning is trying to get closer to Duan Lingtian. Zhong Kuliang guessed. At first, third uncle thought so too. However, when Grandpa Shui Heir died, the fifth elder of the 10,000 Leaves sect, Qin Feng, was in Tianfeng City and could not be in two places at the same time. Also, no one else in the 10,000 Leaves sect is capable of killing Grandpa Shui Heir. Therefore it should have nothing to do with Ho Qingning. Alright, let's leave this trial ground first. Let's call it a day and consider this as giving up. Although Chong Keki's tone was filled with unwillingness, he still obediently stepped into the air with Chong Huyang. They left the trial ground and returned to the teachers of the Hidden Fog Academy. Teacher Yu, we are injured so we came out early. Now Zhong Kuchi and Zhong Kuliang looked very miserable. Blood was flowing out of the corners of their mouths. This was caused by them deliberately injuring themselves. After all, a 10-star student's trial could not be stopped at will. There had to be a reason. Yu Qianshan nodded. Obviously he did not want to bicker with them. Give me your points tokens. Yes. After handing over their points tokens, they went to Zhu Chun's side, as if they could only feel safe by Zhu Chun's side. Uncle Zhu Chun. Zhong Kuchi respectfully greeted Zhu Chun. Zhu Chun was his third uncle's brother-in-law, and according to seniority, he had to call him uncle. You all know, right? I wanted to inform you myself, but third brother said he would. Zhu Chun said with a sound transmission. I know. I just don't know who is helping him. Zhong Kuchi said. Zhu Chun smiled bitterly when he heard that. I'm afraid that he killed those men of sacrifice with his own strength. One of those men of sacrifice dies every once in a while. It's obvious that he killed them one by one. Impossible. Zhong Kuchi said decisively. Even if he can kill the other death warriors one by one with his strength, you also know Grandpa Blood 2's strength. It is impossible for him to kill Grandpa Blood 2. I know this. But this is also the most important thing to consider. If he really killed Blood 2, it means his strength is much greater than what he showed before. Zhu Chun said with a heavy tone. If this is the case, This time he wants to enter the Hidden Fog sect ahead of time and become a core disciple. Hidden Fog sect? Core disciple? What's going on? Zhong Kuqi's pupils shrank and his complexion changed. When he heard Zhu Chun's words, he couldn't help but comfort himself. He must have had someone help him. It is impossible for him to kill Grandpa Blood 2 by himself. If even the dean can't find out who helped him, then the dean's recommendation to become a core disciple of the Hidden Fog sect is a foregone conclusion. Of course, a recommendation is just a recommendation. The Hidden Fog sect has a set of tests for core disciples. If he can't pass, he can't become a core disciple. Zhu Chun said. It is impossible for him to have talent and perception. Although he said this, Zhong Kuqi's heart sank. At the same time he sent a message to his third uncle, Zhong San. Third uncle, that Duan Lingtian must die. Whether or not he can become a core disciple of the Hidden Fog Academy, his existence is a great threat to our Zhong family. The response he received was Zhong San's approval. Hearing this, Zhong Kuqi felt relieved. After all, the hatred and conflict between Duan Lingtian and the Zhong family could be said to be caused by him. If Duan Lingtian really grew up in the future and wanted to deal with the Zhong family, the first person he would deal with would definitely be him. That was not something he wanted to see. In the following days of the 10-star student trial, Duan Lingtian hunted demon beasts as he wondered if he would be able to encounter a heavy carving rare. But in the end he was disappointed. He encountered many 10-star students, but he didn't encounter Zhong Kuqi. That Zhong Kuqi should have received a message and left. Speaking of which, the reason why so many of the Zhong family's death warriors were wiped out this time was most likely because the Zhong family didn't notice their soul beads shattering in time. Just as Duan Lingtian guessed, the reason why the Zhong family's death warriors were wiped out this time was because the Zhong family didn't notice their soul beads shattering. This was because their soul beads were usually stored in the second team of the Zhong family's death warriors. The Zhong family's death warriors were divided into several teams, and each team was led by a leader. The leader of the death warriors was Blood 2, who died at the hands of Duan Lingtian. This time, the second team of the Zhong family's death warriors came out in full force to help Duan Lingtian. No one had been keeping an eye on their soul beads. Later on, when the Zhong family saw that they hadn't sent back any news, they ran to the second team of death warriors to check their soul beads. In the end, they found that their soul beads were all shattered. The second team of death warriors was completely wiped out. It's time. As time passed, the last day of the 10-star students' trial finally came. Duan Lingtian searched for a long time and finally found a monster beast to kill. Then he stepped into the air and prepared to leave the trial ground. As time passed, there were fewer and fewer monster beasts in the trial ground. Obviously, most of them were killed by the 10-star students of the Hidden Fog Academy. Chapter 3654. Duan Lingtian did not meet Chong Keki, Ding Yen, Ho Qingning, Lu Jin and the others. However, he did meet more than a dozen other 10-star students. That was half of the 10-star students in the Hidden Fog Academy. Duan Lingtian. As soon as Duan Lingtian came out, he walked towards the dozen scattered figures in the distance. He heard someone calling his name from afar. It was none other than Ding Yen. Ding Yen heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Duan Lingtian had returned safely. Duan Lingtian saw the relieved smile on Ding Yan's face. Naturally, Duan Lingtian's heart throbbed a little. He couldn't help but feel moved. After all, even if he and Ding Yen were friends, they didn't have a deep relationship. For Ding Yen to be able to do this for him, it was already very rare for him. "You're out so soon?" Duan Lingtian smiled at Ding Yen as he approached. Then he noticed the 4 teachers from the Hidden Fog Academy, including Yu Qianshan, were also looking at him along with the other students. Yu Qianshan's eyes lit up, and the other 2 teachers were also surprised. Only Zhu Chun looked calm. But in fact, his heart was in turmoil. They just came out not long ago, less than an hour ago. Ding Yen shook his head and said, "Some people are said to have come out a long time ago, or rather, they came out a long time ago." At the same time, Ding Yan's eyes fell on Chong Keki and Chong Heyang. It is said that they are injured, but they don't look like they were injured. Duan Lingtian also glanced at Chong Keki and Chong Heyang. He was not surprised that they came out early. As long as the Chong family knew that 17 of their men of sacrifice had died, including the leader of the men of sacrifice, they would definitely inform Chong Keki and Chong Heyang to leave the training ground. They would not be killed by him or the people around him. Although a group of men of sacrifice from the Chong family had been killed by him, he was still able to kill them. However, because those men of sacrifice were killed before they could send a message, The Chong family did not know whether it was Duan Lingtian who killed their men of sacrifice, or whether it was one of his helpers. However, whether it was him alone or the people around him, the Zhong clan would not dare to let Chong Qi continue to stay in the trial ground. This was because the Zhong clan was afraid that he would take revenge on Chong Qi. Not bad, you actually came out early. At the same time, Duan Lingtian sent him a secret sound transmission. What your Chong clan gave me, I will give it back to your Chong clan one day. I hope you can be as lucky as this time. After that, Duan Lingtian took a deep look at Chong Keki. Chong Keki felt a chill in his heart. He even had the thought that he shouldn't be an enemy of this person in front of him. However, as soon as he had the thought, he suppressed it. He ignored Duan Lingtian and sent a message to his third uncle Chong San and his father Chong Er. He told them about how Duan Lingtian had threatened him through a secret sound transmission. Third uncle, he must die. Otherwise, I and the Chong family will become his targets for revenge in the future. Father, if he doesn't die, it doesn't matter if something happens to me in the future. I'm just worried that I'll drag the Chong family down with me. His voice transmission attracted the attention of Zhong Er and Zhong San. When they received the message, killing intent flashed in their eyes. The two of them were both god kings. As soon as killing intent appeared in their eyes, even the people around them would be able to sense it clearly. Second brother, what's wrong? Chong Er, the patriarch of the Chong family, could not help but ask when he sensed the killing intent from Chong Er. Big brother. As Chong Er explained the matter, Chong Er's face also revealed a cold killing intent. After I return, I will mobilize all the forces I can mobilize to eliminate that Duan Lingtian. Otherwise, my Chong family will face a great disaster. If it was true, Chong Er would not have taken Duan Lingtian seriously at first. Now that he learned that Duan Lingtian would be recommended to become a core disciple of the Hidden Fog Academy and Hidden Fog Sect's Vice Sect Master Murong Suifeng, he felt a great sense of crisis. If a core disciple of the Hidden Fog Sect grew up, it would be easy to destroy the Chong family. At this moment, Duan Lingtian did not know about the Chong family patriarch's reaction. Of course, even if he knew, he wouldn't care. From the moment the Chong family sent their men of sacrifice to kill him, he and the Chong family had become enemies. They would not rest until one of them was dead. This was also the first time he had the impulse to destroy a family after coming to the mystic astral land of the Plains of Gods. One must know that even when the Duan clan's southern manor in the Endless Mountains was annihilated by a young master of a clan in Mountainside City, he had only gone to annihilate that young master and did not vent his anger on the clan behind that young master. But this time was different. Not only did the other party want to kill him, but they also used the power of their family. Duan Lingtian. In next to no time, Ho Qingning came out as well, and a smile appeared on his face when he saw Duan Lingtian was safe and sound. I'm relieved to see you're fine. I was really worried that you would stay inside. How is it? Did the Chong family make a move on you? The moment Ho Qingning opened his mouth, he asked openly without the slightest hesitation. Although the Chong family was a God King level family, he also had a God King level sect behind him. Even if the Chong family was the local tyrant of Skywind City, he was not afraid of them. This was because he knew it was impossible for the Chong family to make a move on him. Just as you said, some men of sacrifice came, but they're all dead. However, all of them are dead, Duan Lingtian said indifferently. All of them are dead? Ho Qingning was shocked when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. You killed all of them by yourself? With Duan Lingtian's strength, he was not surprised that he could kill one or two greater deity kamikaze warriors from the Chong family. However, this time, it was impossible for the Chong family to only send one or two greater deity kamikaze warriors to kill Duan Lingtian. Even so, Duan Lingtian still managed to kill all of them? Initially, one or two of them hid near me. When I discovered them, I killed them. Then, the kamikaze warriors from the Chong family appeared near me one by one, and I killed them one by one. Based on Duan Lingtian's words, it was as if he was talking about a trivial matter. You discovered them when they were hiding? Ho Qingning was shocked. In fact, he had already guessed that the kamikaze warriors from the Chong family would have to split up if they wanted to find Duan Lingtian in the trial ground. If they searched together, not only would it be difficult for them to hide, but they would also alert the enemy. However, he did not expect Duan Lingtian to discover the Chong family's kamikaze warriors who were hiding. One must know that the Chong family's kamikaze warriors were all greater deities. They didn't hide well enough. Duan Lingtian said with a smile. You're really lucky. Ho Qingning sighed. Now, he only thought that Duan Lingtian had discovered the Chong family's kamikaze warriors by luck, which led to the death of the Chong family's kamikaze warriors. If a group of kamikaze warriors fought against Duan Lingtian, they might have a chance to kill Duan Lingtian. However, if they were discovered by Duan Lingtian, they would be defeated one by one. With Duan Lingtian's strength, he could easily kill them all. The Chong family probably didn't send any leaders of their kamikaze warriors this time. Otherwise, you wouldn't be a match for them even if you fought one-on-one. Ho Qingning said again. Leaders of the kamikaze warriors? Duan Lingtian only smiled faintly when he heard Ho Qingning's words. If he remembered correctly, he had indeed killed a leader of the Chong family's kamikaze warriors. However, he did not point it out. After all, he had displayed greater strength in killing the leader of the kamikaze warriors than when he fought with Hong Jun at the Hidden Fog Academy. Soon, all the 10-star students who participated in this trial came out one by one. Only a few of them were injured, but all of them came out alive. Give me your points tokens. Yu Qianshan ordered Duan Lingtian and the others to hand over their points tokens. When he received the points tokens from the others, he was fine. However, when he received Duan Lingtian's token and saw the points he had accumulated, he couldn't help but be dazed for a moment. At the same time, he couldn't help but look at Duan Lingtian again. This scene clearly fell into everyone's ears. What's going on? Teacher Yu Qianshan seems very surprised. Heavens! How many points did Duan Lingtian accumulate to make Teacher Yu Qianshan so surprised? The group of 10-star students was curious. At this time, not only the 10-star students, but also Zhu Chun and the other two teachers from the Hidden Fog Academy were looking at Yu Qianshan with curiosity. One of them couldn't help but ask Yu Qianshan, Teacher Yu, did Duan Lingtian have a lot of points? You will know when we go back and sort out the list. Yu Qianshan smiled faintly and kept them guessing. Just like that, Yu Qianshan led a group of people back to the Hidden Fog Academy. Everyone was curious about Yu Qianshan. On the way, Ho Qingning couldn't help but run to Duan Lingtian's side and ask Duan Lingtian, Duan Lingtian, how many points did you accumulate? Why does Teacher Yu look so surprised? Didn't Teacher Yu say that you will know when we go back and sort out the list? Duan Lingtian smiled and kept them guessing. Before he came out, he already knew that the points he accumulated would definitely be far ahead of the others. After all, the speed at which he hunted demon beasts was simply not something the others could compare to. Even Ho Qingning, Hong Jun, and the others couldn't compare to him. Hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Ho Qingning couldn't help but roll his eyes. You're still keeping us guessing like Teacher Yu. Ding Yan. Ho Qingning, who was being ignored by Duan Lingtian, looked at Ding Yan next to Duan Lingtian and asked, how many points did you get this time? More than 8,000. Ding Yan said. Ho Qingning nodded, not bad, almost 10,000. What about you? Ding Yan asked curiously. Me. Ho Qingning smiled proudly, much better than last time. This time I broke through the 20,000 mark. 20,000? Ding Yan was surprised. In the last trial, the highest score didn't exceed 20,000, right? Chapter 3655. 20,000 points. In the Hidden Fog Academy's 10-star trial, this score was a hurdle. In the past, the 5 strongest 10-star students had all crossed this hurdle. To cross this hurdle, one needed to rely not only on strength but also on luck. If one was lucky and encountered a lot of monsters frequently, they would be able to cross this hurdle. In the last 10-star trial, no one had crossed this hurdle. The highest score was more than 19,000 points, and he was ranked first in the 10-star trial. Breaking through 20,000 points, if this was in the past, you would definitely be first place. Ding Yan sighed after learning about his score from Ho Qingning. You said it was in the past. Ho Qingning could not help but smile bitterly. Then he looked at Duan Lingtian and said with a complicated look in his eyes, to be able to make Mr. Yu Qianshan show such an expression after seeing his token, it means that his points have reached a level that surprised Mr. Yu Qianshan. And to be able to surprise Mr. Yu Qianshan, it means that his points are not as simple as 20,000 points. I'm really curious. How many points did this guy get? Ho Qingning stared at Duan Lingtian and raised his voice as he spoke, as if he was hinting at something to Duan Lingtian. However, Duan Lingtian did not seem to hear him. Seeing this, Ho Qingning completely gave up. When Ding Yan heard Ho Qingning's words, he could not help but look at Duan Lingtian with curiosity and anticipation in his eyes. And now they were not the only ones who were curious. Even the other people present, including Zhu Chun and the other 2 teachers, were curious. The group of students could not help but use their imaginations and speculate. How many points do you think Duan Lingtian got to make Mr. Yu Qianshan lose his composure? I remember that 10 years ago when Hong Jun got more than 24,000 points, Mr. Yu Qianshan did not lose his composure like this, right? You think Duan Lingtian has 30,000 points? There should be. After all, Duan Lingtian's strength is publicly acknowledged. Even Hong Jun was only able to fight him to a draw when he didn't use his divine artifact. Under the guesses of the 10-star students, Yu Qianshan led everyone back to Tianfeng City and the Hidden Fog Academy. Tomorrow morning the 10-star ranking list will be revealed. At that time we will know how many points Duan Lingtian has obtained. Let's wait for tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. Why don't someone ask Duan Lingtian? It's hopeless. Don't you see that even Ho Qingning and Ding Yan don't know about it? It's obvious that Duan Lingtian is the same as teacher Yu Qianshan, deliberately keeping us in suspense. Let's wait. When the group of 10-star students dispersed in front of the 10 Stars Hall, Duan Lingtian was also preparing to return to his own dormitory. Duan Lingtian. However, just as Duan Lingtian, Ho Qingning and Ding Yan were about to return to their dormitory, Yu Qianshan called out to them. Come with me. The dean wants to see you. Duan Lingtian was taken aback when he heard this. Then he followed Yu Qianshan. As for Ho Qingning and Ding Yan, they could only return by themselves. I was thinking of asking Duan Lingtian on the way back to see how many points he obtained. I didn't expect the dean to call him over. Ho Qingning could not help but smile bitterly when he saw Duan Lingtian leaving with Yu Qianshan. Ding Yan was silent. Duan Lingtian followed behind Yu Qianshan and walked toward the area surrounded by the 10-star students. They passed through a layer of fog and entered a paradise that was filled with birds and flowers. Although this place did not look big from the outside, it was a completely different world once they entered. It was as though there was an independent dimension that was surrounded by the 10-star students' dormitory. This way. Under Yu Qianshan's lead, Duan Lingtian arrived at a pavilion in the center of this paradise. This pavilion was located in a spacious mansion. To be more precise, it was in the backyard of this spacious mansion. There were a few lush trees in the surroundings that seemed to be able to support the heaven and earth. Duan Lingtian glanced at them and did not recognize what kind of trees they were. The pavilion was taller than the trees. It was surrounded by fog, making it seem like a pavilion in the air. It gave off the feeling of flowers in the mirror and the moon in the water. Dean, I've brought him here. Yu Qianshan led Duan Lingtian to the top floor of the pavilion and said respectfully. Duan Lingtian glanced inside and found that there was no one in the pavilion. Just as this thought flashed across his mind, there was a wave of ripples in the void within the pavilion. Then a figure appeared in front of him at the right time. It was an elegant middle-aged man. He was wearing a snow-white robe and had a handsome face. His long hair was tied behind his back and he stood with his hands behind his back. He looked like a proud scholar. You can leave first. The elegant middle-aged man was the dean of the Hidden Fog Academy, Murong Suifeng. Yu Qianshan respectfully left after hearing his words. For a moment, Duan Lingtian and Murong Suifeng were left alone in the pavilion. Come in and have a seat. Murong Suifeng looked at Duan Lingtian from afar and smiled at Duan Lingtian. He waved his hand and a wine bottle and 2 empty cups appeared on the wooden table in the pavilion. Murong Suifeng's figure flashed and he sat down at the table. Ding. After greeting Murong Suifeng, Duan Lingtian didn't stand on ceremony and directly sat down at the table. When Murong Suifeng saw how casual Duan Lingtian was, the smile on his face grew even wider. Duan Lingtian, I like you very much. Let alone the students of the Hidden Fog Academy, even ordinary teachers would hesitate for a long time if I asked them to sit down. I like how straightforward you are. You don't drag things out. Murong Suifeng's words were sincere. There was no hint of sarcasm in them. It's tiring to be so courteous. Why don't we save the effort and time? Duan Lingtian said with a smile. Duan Lingtian was only a student in the Hidden Fog Academy. It was impossible for him to be on the same level as the dean. However, Murong Suifeng was the one who asked him to sit. He did not think Murong Suifeng was superior to him just because he was the dean. Duan Lingtian's goal was to go to the realm of gods and rescue his wife, Ker. Even if Wuyin Suifeng, the dean of the Hidden Fog Academy, was a divine emperor, Duan Lingtian was certain he would surpass him in the future. Duan Lingtian did not want to offend Murong Suifeng, so he would not sit down without Murong Suifeng's permission. After all, his strength was still very weak. It would be unwise to anger Murong Suifeng, who was suspected to be a divine emperor. How refreshing. The smile on Murong Suifeng's face became even more brilliant. At the same time, He stretched out his hand to pick up the wine jug on the table and poured a cup of wine for Duanling Tian before pouring a cup for himself. Come, taste the authoritative wine that I brewed myself. Authoritative wine was the name Murong Suifeng gave to the wine he brewed in memory of his disciple who died at such a young age. Naturally, Duanling Tian was unaware of this. Authoritative wine? Although he found the name strange, the aroma of the wine on the table had already whetted his appetite. At the same time, when he smelled the aroma of the wine, he could feel the divine power in his body trembling unconsciously. Although the magnitude of the tremor was very small, he could still clearly feel it. This wine is not ordinary. This was the thought that rose in his subconscious mind. Try it. Murong Suifeng smiled and said, Divine Spirit, this is your first time drinking the authoritative wine that I brewed. It will be very beneficial to your cultivation. Perhaps, after drinking the authoritative wine today and receiving the dragon-marked divine grass tomorrow, you will be able to break through and become a higher divine spirit in no time. Duanling Tian could no longer hold back after hearing Murong Suifeng's words. He picked up the cup and swallowed the wine in one gulp. He did not even have the time to savor it before he swallowed it. In the next moment, Duanling Tian felt a burning sensation in his throat. Then, it was the inside of his body. His entire body began to heat up due to an unknown force. It was only when he subconsciously activated the modified 9 Dragons War Sovereign technique to cultivate that the force was driven by him and merged with the divine energy in his body. This caused his divine energy to become much stronger in the blink of an eye. This change made his eyes brighten. Then he regained his senses and stared at the jug of wine on the table. Meanwhile, Murong Suifeng picked up his cup of wine and took a sip before putting it down. After that, he picked up the wine jug and poured another cup of wine for Duanling Tian under Duanling Tian's burning gaze. You don't drink the way you did earlier. You have to slowly savor it before you'll be able to feel its flavor. After 3 cups, the authoritative wine's effect on your cultivation base will be negligible. So there's no need to rush. Take your time to savor it. Murong Suifeng felt Duanling Tian's drinking method was a waste of God's gift. If it was an ordinary 10-star student, he would not have given him a second cup. Upon hearing this, Duanling Tian smiled awkwardly and began to savor the second cup slowly. His eyes lit up immediately. Good wine. Although Duanling Tian was not a person who was greedy for wine, regardless of whether it was in the mundane realm or the Devata realm, he had a certain understanding of wine and had drunk many good wines. The authoritative wine was not inferior to the few wines that he had drunk in the past. Most importantly, the authoritative wine had a unique flavor that was not present in the wines that he had drunk in the past. In fact, those wines did not even have a similar flavor. It was precisely because of this that the authoritative wine had amazed him. Dean, this is the best wine I've ever drunk. You said you brewed it yourself? Duanling Tian looked at Murong Suifeng with shining eyes. A hint of longing could be seen in the depths of his eyes. As though he could see the longing and anticipation in Duanling Tian's eyes, Murong Suifeng shook his head. Although the brewing of the authoritative wine is not complicated, some of the ingredients are very rare. In the past 100 years I've only brewed 3 bottles. I drank 1 bottle myself and gave the sect leader another bottle. This is the only bottle left. Chapter 3656. Murong Suifeng's words completely extinguished Duanling Tian's thoughts of asking Murong Suifeng for a few bottles of exclusive wine. On the phone, Duanling Tian. Suddenly Murong Suifeng's expression turned serious, and he looked at Duanling Tian with a deep gaze. During the 10-star student trials this time within the trial grounds, you ought to have encountered an attack, right? Duanling Tian and Murong Suifeng looked at each other and nodded. Yes. The people from the 10,000 Leaves sect went near the trial grounds but left soon after. According to them, it was Ho Qingning who asked them to go over. His original intention was for them to protect you, but you refused? Murong Suifeng asked again. Duanling Tian nodded again. Why did you refuse? Murong Suifeng continued to ask. If they were to protect you, even if the leader of the divine kings couldn't enter, with other divine spirits protecting you, you would be safer in the trial grounds. Why did you refuse? Are you confident in yourself or do you have other helpers? Before Duanling Tian could reply, Murong Suifeng asked another question. I don't want to owe anyone a favor. Duanling Tian said. You don't want to owe anyone a favor? Murong Suifeng looked deeply at Duanling Tian. This isn't a very good reason. Or rather, based on this reason you have confidence in your own strength, right? Since Dean already knows, why ask? Duan Lingtian smiled and said, as long as the people from the Divine King clan in Tianfeng City aren't personally sent by a Divine King, I believe I still have some ability to protect myself. Only protect yourself? Murong Suifeng looked mockingly at Duan Lingtian. According to what I know, the Zhong clan specially nurtured a few teams of superior god death warriors, and one of them was completely annihilated this time. Even the leader of that team of death warriors, one of the strongest people under the Divine King realm in the Zhong clan, died. On the other hand, the leader of the Zhong family's loyalists is a higher deity who has comprehended the law of space and fused multiple profundities. Even with the strength you displayed in front of Hongjun that day, it's impossible for you to defeat him. Murong Suifeng paused for a moment as he looked at Duan Lingtian with a deep gaze. Unless you were concealing your strength back then. Duan Lingtian was only slightly surprised that Murong Suifeng knew so much. But then he remembered that Murong Suifeng wasn't just the dean of the Hidden Fog Academy, he was also the vice-sect master of the Divine Emperor-level sect. With Murong Suifeng's status, it wasn't difficult for him to know about these things. Am I right? Murong Suifeng asked. Duan Lingtian faintly smiled. Dean's information network is indeed shocking. The death warriors I killed in the trial grounds weren't just the Zhong clan's death warriors. I also killed other death warriors. I wanted to ask some things from some of them, but they chose to die rather than submit. I had no way of knowing where they came from. But you Dean know so much. Duan Lingtian couldn't help but sigh and shake his head. It looks like you admit it. Murong Suifeng also smiled. This time I asked you to come here not only to confirm this matter with you, but also to let you enter the Hidden Fog sect ahead of time and recommend you to become a core disciple of the Hidden Fog sect. Are you interested? Murong Suifeng asked. Enter the Hidden Fog sect in advance? Become a core disciple of the Hidden Fog sect? Duan Lingtian's eyes brightened at Murong Suifeng's words. At the same time he repeatedly expressed his thanks. Thank you, Dean. Before entering the Hidden Fog Academy, he had already heard what being a core disciple of the Hidden Fog sect meant. Once one became a core disciple of the Hidden Fog sect, their status in the Hidden Fog sect would be no less than that of an inner sect elder. After they were 10,000 years old, if they still stayed in the Hidden Fog sect, they could even become a core elder, a lofty status. If they didn't want to stay in the Hidden Fog sect, they could enter the Emperor God level influence behind the Hidden Fog sect through the recommendation of the Hidden Fog sect. At that time, their status in the Emperor God level influence might not be high, but their status would be much more valuable. In the outside world, an ordinary elder of an Emperor God level influence would have a status that far surpassed that of a core elder of an Emperor God level influence. Of course, if one wanted to become an elder of an Emperor God level influence, even if they were an ordinary elder, they still had to pass some tests. Only by passing these tests could they enter an Emperor God level influence and become an elder. If they couldn't pass, they could only continue to stay in the Hidden Fog sect. However, even with my recommendation, you cannot directly become a core disciple of the Hidden Fog sect. The Hidden Fog sect has a series of tests for core disciples. Only by passing these tests can you become a core disciple. Murong Suifeng continued to say, if you can't pass, you can still enter the Hidden Fog sect ahead of time. But you can only become an inner sect disciple. In the future, if you want to become a core disciple, you can apply to participate in the tests again. Understood. Duan Lingtian naturally knew what Murong Suifeng was talking about. This was the same logic as those core disciples of the Hidden Fog sect who wanted to join the Divine Emperor level force behind the Hidden Fog sect under the recommendation of the Hidden Fog sect. The Hidden Fog sect's recommendation could only be considered as a stepping stone. If one wanted to enter an Emperor God level influence and become an elder, they needed to have sufficient ability. During this time you should prepare. A month from now, I will have the sect arrange for someone to come pick you up. Murong Suifeng said to Duan Lingtian. At the same time he continued to pour wine for Duan Lingtian. Thank you, Dean. Duan Lingtian thanked Murong Suifeng once again. After that, Murong Suifeng chatted with Duan Lingtian while drinking wine with Duan Lingtian. As they spoke, they also speculated about Duan Lingtian's origins. In front of Murong Suifeng, Duan Lingtian didn't say what he had said in the past. This was because someone at Murong Suifeng's level could already come into contact with an Emperor God level influence like the Heavenly Illumination sect. Moreover, he was about to enter the Hidden Fog sect, so it wasn't convenient for him to say that he was a disciple of the Heavenly Illumination sect. Sect Master, I have been in the Mystic Handle land for some time, but I have never told anyone my true origins. Duan Lingtian sighed and said, Dean, you have taken care of me so much, so I naturally can't lie. Actually, I'm not from the Mystic Handle Land. Not from the Mystic Handle Land? Murong Suifeng was stunned. Yes. Duan Lingtian nodded. Then where are you from? Murong Suifeng asked again. I am from the Devata realm. Duan Lingtian said. Devata realm? Murong Suifeng smiled when he heard that. I see. However, to have such achievements at your age, I think you are not an ordinary person in the Devata realm. In Murong Suifeng's eyes, Duan Lingtian was more than 2,000 years old after all. Naturally, he thought Duan Lingtian came from the Devata realm before the Mystic Handle Land collided with another realm of gods to form the realm battlefield. Have you been in the Mystic Handle Land for 1,000 years? Murong Suifeng asked again. 1,000 years? Duan Lingtian shook his head. Don't tell me you came to the Mystic Handle Land not long before the Mystic Handle Land collided with another realm of gods? You have been here for less than 700 years? Murong Suifeng asked again. Not really. Duan Lingtian shook his head again. I have only been in the Mystic Handle Land for a few years. Only a few years? This time Murong Suifeng was stunned. After a long while, he subconsciously muttered, the realm battlefield has opened, and the spatial passageways between the realms of gods and the Devata realms have closed. Under such circumstances, how did you come to the Mystic Handle Land? Actually, I don't know if I was lucky or not. Duan Lingtian smiled bitterly. I was originally cultivating in the Netherworld, one of the 7 deadliest places in the Devata realm. Suddenly, a spatial rift appeared beside me and a suction force sucked me in. When I regained my senses, I found myself in an unfamiliar place. Later, I found out that I was in the realm battlefield formed by the intersection of 2 realms of gods. When Duan Lingtian finished speaking, Murong Suifeng finally regained his senses. So you were swept into the realm battlefield from the Devata realm by the spatial turbulence. I've heard of the 7 deadliest places in the Devata realm, but I've never been there. I didn't expect the space there to be so unstable. Murong Suifeng did not doubt Duan Lingtian's words. However, with your strength, you're considered lucky to be able to leave the realm battlefield alive and come to the Mystic Handle Land. Murong Suifeng added. Actually, it's not really luck. I just met a senior and told him what happened to me. Then, he kindly sent me to the military camp in the realm battlefield, and I came to the Mystic Handle Land through the transportation formation. Duan Lingtian smiled bitterly. Isn't that also luck? Murong Suifeng said with a smile. Not everyone is so kind in the realm battlefield. I think so too. Duan Lingtian nodded solemnly. Therefore, I'll definitely find an opportunity in the future to return this favor to that senior. Murong Suifeng had a look of admiration in his eyes. He could see that Duan Lingtian was speaking from the bottom of his heart, and he was not pretending in front of him. It was precisely because of this that his impression of Duan Lingtian became even better. If it wasn't for the promise he made all those years ago to not take any more disciples, he felt that he would be unable to restrain himself from wanting to take this person before him as his disciple. He came to the Mystic Handle Land by accident from a Devata realm, had a clean background, and possessed outstanding innate talent and comprehension ability. As long as he was given the opportunity, he would definitely be able to rise up and even soar into the sky. At this moment, Duan Lingtian also noticed that after drinking the 3rd cup of authority wine, the 4th cup did not bring any changes to his divine energy. Obviously, it was just as Murong Suifeng had said. Only the first 3 cups of authority wine were helpful to the improvement of one's cultivation base. After chatting for a while, Duan Lingtian bid farewell to Murong Suifeng and prepared to leave. On the other hand, Murong Suifeng called Yu Qianshan, who had not gone far away, to send Duan Lingtian back to the 10-star student dormitory. Before returning to his dormitory, all Duan Lingtian could hear were voices that were filled with anticipation for his ranking on the trial rankings tomorrow. I'm really curious. How many points did senior brother Duan Lingtian obtain in this trial? I really hope tomorrow comes early. Lingtian war revered. Chapter 3657. Duan Lingtian could not help but shake his head when he heard the curious and expectant voices. His points? Perhaps the entire Hidden Fog Academy would be in an uproar because of the points he obtained in the 10-star trial tomorrow. In the past, the highest points a 10-star student could obtain in a trial was only 20,000 points. If I had known earlier, I would have asked Ding Yan and Ho Qingning about this before the trial. That way I wouldn't have been so high profile. Duan Lingtian shook his head and returned to his dorm under the watchful eyes of many people. He returned to his room in the dormitory and sat on the bed. The first thing he did was to take out a stalk of grass that was glowing with a green light. The grass was in an irregular shape and did not show any signs of decay. It was full of vitality and seemed to be able to live well independently of the soil. This was the reward for ranking first in the 10-star trial, the dragon-marked divine grass. Before Yu Qianshan returned to the Hidden Fog Academy, Yu Qianshan, under the instruction of the Dean Murong Suifeng, Yu Qianshan had given him the reward for ranking first in the 10-star trial. Naturally, Duan Lingtian knew the reason the Dean was so kind to him was because the Dean approved of him as a person. This time in front of Murong Suifeng he spoke of his true origins. However, he didn't reveal how he had entered the dimensional battlefield. That was because he couldn't reveal the truth. After all, it was related to the existence of the 5 divine elements. The 5 divine elements were not only precious in the Devata realms, but they were also precious in the realms of gods. This was especially true for the high-level 5 divine elements. They were extremely tempting. Even god emperors and ultimate gods would scramble for the high-level 5 divine elements. After all, it was the most direct way for them to take the final step and become a supreme expert. For this reason, Duan Lingtian could not reveal the 5 divine elements in front of Murong Suifeng. And the things he had fabricated were all reasonable and well-founded. Even if one day Murong Suifeng went to the undead world, one of the 7 deadliest places in the Devata realms, and discovered that the space there was extremely unstable, he would not doubt Duan Lingtian's words. He would only think that the space in the undead world was unstable due to the collision between the realms of gods. Moreover, even if Murong Suifeng wanted to go to the netherworld, he would have to wait for 300 years. 300 years later, even if Murong Suifeng found out that he had lied today, it wouldn't affect him at all. As for revealing his background to Murong Suifeng now, that was only to give himself a true identity. Only like this would the Hidden Fog sect not have any scruples towards him. A person with an unclear background was someone no influence could cultivate too much. In a month's time I'll be able to take the next step. A godly emperor force will be my first stage in the realms of gods. Duan Lingtian's eyes were burning with passion as he looked at the dragon-marked divine grass. When he tried to infuse his divine energy into the dragon-marked divine grass, lines that resembled dragon scales appeared on the surface of the dragon-marked divine grass. No wonder teacher Yu Qianshan reminded me to nourish it with my divine energy before I consume it. Only then can I activate all of its medicinal efficacy. So that's how the dragon-marked divine grass got its name. Previously, Duan Lingtian was still puzzled as to why this stalk of grass was called the dragon-marked divine grass when he could not see any traces of the dragon-marked divine grass. Now that he had infused his divine energy into it, he finally understood. After the dragon mark appeared, Duan Lingtian stuffed the grass into his mouth and swallowed it. Then, as the medicinal efficacy of the dragon-marked divine grass entered his body, Duan Lingtian began to close his eyes. He paid no attention to the outside world as he immersed himself in his cultivation. For the time being he was afraid of the outside world. It was a peaceful night for Duan Lingtian. However, it was not a peaceful night for the other 10-star students and even the students of the Hidden Mist Academy. At this moment, even the other students had learned from some of the 10-star students that Duan Lingtian had accumulated so many points during the trial that even Yu Qianshan's expression changed. Who was Yu Qianshan? He was one of the few teachers in the Hidden Mist Academy who was second only to the dean. Therefore, even those who were not 10-star students were looking forward to the release of the results the next day. Meanwhile, in the Hidden Mist Academy's teacher dormitory, Chu Fengyang, who was on duty at the 10-star hall, went to the cultivation place of another teacher, Yun Hui. It was considered a teacher's dormitory in the Hidden Mist Academy. Martial Uncle. Yun Hui was the teacher who arranged for Duan Lingtian to enter the Hidden Mist Academy. He was also Chu Fengyang's martial uncle. Chu Fengyang had learned from Yun Hui that Duan Lingtian was extraordinary. That was why he was so confident in Duan Lingtian when Duan Lingtian fought with Ding Yan and Hong Jun. "Kid, why are you here all of a sudden?" Yun Hui smiled kindly when he saw Chu Fengyang. Without waiting for Chu Fengyang to speak, he asked, "Is it because of that kid Duan Lingtian? It seems that martial uncle already knows about him." Chu Fengyang smiled embarrassedly before he went straight to the point. "Junior uncle, I came to look for you because I want to ask you. How many points did Duan Lingtian obtain in the trial this time? Right now, everyone in the academy is curious." "What? Do you think I should know?" Yun Hui asked in a bad mood. "Martial uncle, if you ask teacher Yu Qianshan, do you think he won't tell you?" In terms of seniority, he has to address you as senior brother. Moreover, you saved his life when he was young, so he is very respectful to you. Chu Fengyang said, if you ask him, he won't hide it. Maybe. Martial uncle, you already asked? Chu Fengyang looked at Yun Hui expectantly. I would like to ask, but the dean has already said that Qianshan can't reveal Duan Lingtian's results in advance. Now, even I have to wait until tomorrow to know. Yun Hui sighed. I think, this time Duan Lingtian must have gotten an amazing result. Chu Fengyang was shocked when he heard this. Even the dean has said that? Isn't this too much? The dean had said that Duan Lingtian's trial results couldn't be revealed in advance? Since when did the dean care about this? In the history of the Hidden Fog Academy, their dean had never done such a thing. But this time, why was it so different? I also think it's too much. Yun Hui nodded. I even suspect. Duan Lingtian might have gotten more than 50,000 points. 50,000? This is too much, isn't it? Chu Fengyang clicked his tongue. As for the exact number, we'll know tomorrow. Yun Hui said. Chu Fengyang nodded. At the same time, he seemed to think of something and asked, Martial uncle, I heard that the dean intends to let Duan Lingtian enter our Hidden Mist sect in advance and recommend him to become a core disciple? Yes. Yun Hui nodded. He was quite clear about this matter. The dean has already informed the sect. 1 month later, the sect will send someone to pick up Duan Lingtian. 1 month later? So soon? Chu Fengyang was surprised. As far as I know, the next core disciple assessment is still half a year away, right? Yun Hui nodded. The reason the dean did this is probably because he wants Duan Lingtian to enter the sect earlier and enjoy the treatment of an inner sect disciple. The treatment of an inner sect disciple is much better than the treatment of a 10-star student. That's true. Chu Fengyang nodded. At the same time, he couldn't help but look expectant. Maybe Duan Lingtian can really pass the core disciple assessment and become a core disciple. Maybe. Yun Hui nodded. Martial uncle, even you don't have much confidence in him? Chu Fengyang was startled. It's not that I don't have confidence. It's just that the core disciple assessment set up for Divine Spirit Realm Inner Sect disciples is much more difficult than the core disciple assessment for Divine King Realm Inner Sect disciples and above. Of course, the difficulty here is for the inner sect disciples who participate in the assessment. Yun Hui shook his head as he said, after all, the Divine Spirit Realm Inner Sect disciples participate in the assessment for Divine Spirit Realm Core disciples. And the Divine King Realm Inner Sect disciples participate in the assessment for Divine King Realm Core disciples. Moreover, it's not like you don't know, in our Hidden Fog sect's nearly 10,000 years of history, there hasn't been a single Divine Spirit Realm Inner Sect disciple who has passed the core disciple assessment. Yun Hui's words caused Chu Fengyang to fall silent. If it weren't for his martial uncle reminding him, he would have forgotten about this matter. In the Hidden Fog sect's nearly 10,000 years of history, although there had been many Divine Spirit Realm Inner Sect disciples who participated in the core disciple assessment, there hadn't been a single Divine Spirit Realm Inner Sect disciple who had successfully passed the core disciple assessment. It was also because of this that although the Hidden Fog sect had several dozen core disciples, the weakest of them were lower god kings. I also hope that Duan Lingtian can pass the core disciple assessment. If he can break the 10,000-year curse, he might become the next Xue Haichuan. Unknowingly, Yun Hui's eyes flashed with anticipation. Xue Haichuan. As for Chu Fengyang, when he heard Yun Hui mention this name, his eyes couldn't help but light up. Xue Haichuan was similar in age to him and his seniority in the Hidden Fog sect was similar to his. When Xue Haichuan was still in the Hidden Fog sect, whenever he saw Xue Haichuan, he would call him Senior Apprentice Brother. Xue Haichuan was also the most recent person in the Hidden Fog sect to become a core disciple with a Divine Spirit Realm cultivation. Of course, that was 10,000 years ago. Now, Xue Haichuan was an elder of the God Emperor level influence behind the Hidden Fog sect. Moreover, his status was lofty and even the current sect master of the Hidden Fog sect had to be respectful to him. Chapter 3658. The next day when the sun had just risen, one by one figures rushed out of the 10 Stars dormitory and entered the 10 Stars palace. The results will be released in another 2 hours. Let's go and wait. I'm really curious, how many points did Senior Duan Lingtian get? Even teacher Yu Qianshan's expression changed. We'll know the answer in 2 hours. There was only one teacher on duty in the 10 Stars palace. It was none other than Yuan Lei, who was on good terms with Ding Yan and Hong Jun previously. When Duanling Tian fought with Ding Yan and Hong Jun, he did not think highly of Duanling Tian at all. However, when Duanling Tian fought with Hong Jun, Chu Fengyang, the Hidden Fog Academy's teacher, wanted to bet with Yuan Lei, but he was rejected. After Duanling Tian defeated Hong Jun, even Yuan Lei was shocked. He no longer dared to underestimate Duanling Tian. Teacher Yuan Lei, the results will be released in 2 hours. Do you know how many points Duanling Tian got in this trial? Ding Yan walked up to Yuan Lei and looked at him with a deep gaze. It was as though he was trying to figure out something from Yuan Lei's expression. Go away. Yuan Lei glared at Ding Yan. You brat, you have such a good relationship with Duanling Tian and you don't even know? Why are you asking me? Let me tell you, up until now, apart from Duanling Tian himself, teacher Yu Chen Shan, and the dean, I'm afraid there's no fourth person who knows about Duanling Tian's results in the trial. Even for me, I can only wait with you. Ding Yan was naturally disappointed when he heard Yuan Lei's words. Within the 10 Stars Palace Hall, a group of people surrounded a corner of the 10 Stars Palace Hall. In front of them was a formation, and there was a light screen erected within it. Currently, the light screen was completely blank and there was nothing on it. This was also the light screen that displayed the results of the 10 Stars trials. Although there were still 2 hours before the results were released, most of the 10-star students were already waiting for the results to be announced. Clearly, they were very curious about the results of the 10-star trial. Half an hour later, even Hong Jun, Ho Qingning, and the others, who were the strongest 10-star students before Duanling Tian entered the Hidden Mist Academy, appeared one by one, attracting the attention of the other 10-star students. Then, many teachers of the Hidden Mist Academy also showed up. How lively. It seems that everyone wants to see Duanling Tian's results with their own eyes. A quarter of an hour before the results were announced, almost all of the 10-star students were present, except for 2 people. One was Duanling Tian, and the other was Chong Keqi, who was recognized as the crown prince of the Chong family. Duanling Tian didn't come. That Chong Keqi didn't come either. In fact, there weren't many 10-star students. With just a glance, one could tell who had come and who hadn't. Teacher Chu Fengyang is here. As another figure flashed in from outside, many of the 10-star students' eyes fell on the figure. It was none other than Chu Fengyang. Chu Fengyang was often on duty in the 10 Stars Hall, so he was no stranger to the 10-star students. Only a quarter of an hour left. Now, not only the 10-star students present, but even the teachers of the Hidden Fog Academy were looking at the light screen in the corner of the 10 Stars Hall, waiting for the results of the 10-star students' trial to appear. Time passed quietly. A quarter of an hour passed in the blink of an eye for everyone present. But now they felt like a year had passed. Or it should be said that each breath felt like a year. There are only a few breaths left. When the time was almost up, a dignified voice sounded. The originally chaotic breathing in the 10 Stars Hall completely stopped at this moment. Like torches, everyone's eyes fell on the light screen that had begun to change. The first thing that appeared on the light screen was the names at the bottom. The results of the 10-star students were displayed from bottom to top. The results of the people at the bottom were not attractive. Everyone's eyes followed the names. 6th place, Hong Jun, 17,821 points. Hong Jun was the 6th place in the 10-star students trial. It seems like senior brother Hong Jun's score is the lowest among the 5. Now, only the other 4 senior brothers and senior brother Duanling Tian's scores haven't appeared. The person in 5th place in front of Hong Jun was one of the 5 strongest students before the 10-star students. He was as famous as Hong Jun and Ho Qingning. He had obtained 18,030 points, which was less than 200 points more than Hong Jun. The person in 4th place had less than 100 points more than the person in 5th place. The person in 3rd place had more than 300 points more than the person in 4th place. It seems like senior brother Ho Qingning's score is the highest among them. It's a pity that senior brother Duan is here. If senior brother Duan wasn't here, he would definitely be in 1st place. Under the gazes of the crowd, the name in 2nd place finally appeared. It was none other than Ho Qingning. He actually obtained more than 20,000 points. When Ho Qingning's score appeared along with his name, the people in the 10 Stars Hall were in an uproar. One had to know that in the previous 10-star trial, the number 1 student had only managed to get a score of 20,000 points. That was just a hair's breadth away. However, this time, Ho Qingning's score had exceeded 20,000 points. He obtained more than 20,000 points, but he didn't get 1st place. Senior brother Ho Qingning must be feeling very indignant, right? Many of the 10-star students looked in Ho Qingning's direction with curiosity. However, to their disappointment, after Ho Qingning saw that he was in second place, his face did not reveal any disappointment or unwillingness. He looked at the line above his name with a serious expression, the part that had not yet appeared. Senior brother Duan Lingtian's score is going to be revealed soon. Under the gazes of everyone who held their breaths, Duan Lingtian's name finally appeared. Subsequently, the gazes of the group of people descended onto the back of Duan Lingtian's name in unison, and they saw the standard points appear behind it. When Duan Lingtian's score appeared before everyone's eyes, the entire place fell into a dead silence again. The entire 10 Stars hall was so silent that one could hear the sound of a needle hitting the ground. How is this possible? Some of the 10-star students looked at each other in dismay after they came back to their senses. Their faces were full of disbelief, and their eyes were full of unparalleled horror. Are these points real or fake? Isn't this too heaven-defying? All of the 10-star students were in an uproar. Even Hong Jun, Ho Qingning, and the others were stunned. That fellow, while Ho Qingning was dumbfounded, the corners of his mouth also curled up into a bitter smile. Ding Yin was also dumbstruck, appearing to be in a daze. Even the group of Hidden Fog Academy teachers who were standing on the side were speechless when they regained their senses. The corner of Chu Fengyang's mouth could not help but twitch when he saw Duan Lingtian's achievement in the 10 Stars trial. I thought Junior Uncle's estimate of 50,000 points was already overestimating him. Now it seems like I've underestimated him. This Duan Lingtian? He's a monster. Yuan Lei swallowed a mouthful of saliva and said with a trembling voice. The other Hidden Fog Academy teachers around him also nodded, expressing their deep agreement with his words. At this moment, after Duan Lingtian's name, there was a neatly marked number, 125,613 points. Over 100,000 points. Even if it was just a fraction of 100,000 points, it was still more than the second place, Ho Qingning. I'm afraid this is the most abnormal score in the history of our Hidden Fog Academy's 10-star trial, right? A 10-star student said. In the history of our Hidden Fog Academy's 10-star trial, the highest score was only close to 30,000 points. Senior brother Duan Lingtian's score this time not only broke the original record, it's even 4 times the original record. 4 times. Senior brother Duan Lingtian can no longer be described as a monster. He's a freak. I didn't expect to witness such a scene in the Hidden Fog Academy before I graduate. This scene is enough for me to brag about for the rest of my life. As the 10-star students came back to their senses, the atmosphere in the 10 Stars hall became extremely angry. Among the 10-star students, there was one who didn't look too good. He was a branch disciple of the Chong family, Chong Heyang. Chong Keqi didn't come, but Chong Heyang did. When he saw the number of points Duan Lingtian had obtained in the 10-star trial, he immediately sent a message to Chong Keqi, who didn't come, to inform him of the matter. What? 120,000 points? Chong Keqi, who was in a middle-grade dormitory, received Chong Heyang's message. He was originally sitting on the bed with his eyes closed, but he jumped up as if his butt was on fire. His face was full of horror. After the shock, his face became very ugly. He didn't go to the 10 Stars hall today because he was worried that Duan Lingtian would do something to him. Let alone the 10 Stars hall, he didn't think Duan Lingtian would dare to touch him anywhere in the Hidden Fog Academy. The reason he didn't go was because he didn't want to see Duan Lingtian in the limelight. After all, teacher Yu Qinshan's performance had already told them that Duan Lingtian was the winner of the 10-star trial. He regarded Duan Lingtian as his and the Chong family's enemy. Naturally, he didn't want to see him in the limelight. However, although he didn't go personally, he sent a message to Chong Heyang and asked him to send the news to him as soon as possible. But now, the news came. He, however, was frightened. Chapter 3659. He got more than 120,000 points in the 10-star trial. When this news spread throughout the Hidden Fog Academy, the entire academy was in an uproar. Oh my god! What kind of monster is that senior brother Duan? In the history of our academy, the best result of a 10-star student was only about 30,000 points. But he actually obtained more than 120,000 points. Yeah, that's crazy. He's not human. It wasn't just the 10-star students who were shocked by Duan Lingtian's results. Even the other students of the Hidden Fog Academy were shocked by Duan Lingtian's results. Of course, there were some people who were calmer. Most of them were teachers of the Hidden Fog Academy. Duan Lingtian's results have something to do with the monsters arranged by the sect. The strongest monster they arranged was only slightly weaker than Hong Jun's group of 5. It wasn't easy for Hong Jun's group of 5 to deal with, but it was nothing for Duan Lingtian. Indeed. Previously, during the battle between Duan Lingtian and Hong Jun had to use a Devata artifact to barely fight him to a draw. If Duan Lingtian used his Devata artifact, even the strongest demon beast in the trial grounds would not be able to withstand a few attacks from him. If he makes a surprise move, even the strongest demonic beast in the trial ground may be killed by him in an instant. When Duan Lingtian participated in the 10-star student trials this time and slaughtered those demon beasts, he would definitely slaughter them in a crushing manner. Under such circumstances, his points would naturally explode. Even so, more than 120,000 points is still very shocking. After figuring out the reason, many teachers of the Hidden Fog Academy felt relieved. A few students gradually calmed down after listening to the teacher's analysis. They were no longer as crazy as before. Even so, in their eyes, Duan Lingtian was still a lofty existence that they could only look up to. The gap between them was just too big. He was not even 2,800 years old, but he already possessed such strength. In the history of the Hidden Fog Academy, no one was as outstanding as him. In fact, no one was even comparable to him. Senior brother Duan has created a milestone in the history of the Hidden Fog Academy. I wonder how long it will take for someone to break this milestone. Maybe no one will ever be able to break it. No matter how much the Hidden Fog Academy talked about him, Duan Lingtian didn't know about it. He was now immersed in cultivation. He could feel that the divine power in his body was transforming rapidly. He was getting closer and closer to the upper god realm. A breakthrough was just around the corner. On this day, Duan Lingtian, who was still wholeheartedly cultivating, was awakened by someone. The person who woke him was none other than Chu Fengyang. Teacher Chu. Duan Lingtian had a very good impression of Chu Fengyang, this teacher that he came in contact with more often. When he saw Chu Fengyang come looking for him, Duan Lingtian asked with a curious expression, "It has already been a month since the last trial?" "Exactly 1 month." Chu Fengyang nodded with a smile. "You didn't forget what the dean said to you a month ago, right? The people from the sect arrived yesterday. But my martial uncle took him to drink all night, so he didn't disturb you yesterday." As Chu Fengyang spoke to hear, there was a trace of helplessness in his voice. The elder who came is an inner sect elder. In terms of seniority, I should call him senior apprentice uncle. He and my senior apprentice uncle were childhood friends, and the two of them had a very good relationship since they were young. Later they entered Hidden Fog Academy together and both entered the Hidden Fog sect, becoming inner sect elders of the Hidden Fog sect. Duan Lingtian knew that the martial uncle Chu Fengyang mentioned was the teacher who was in charge of his 10-star entrance exam, Jianghu. It was just that Duan Lingtian didn't expect that solemn-looking old man to have such a side to him. "Yesterday when we were drinking, I also accompanied them. My martial uncle said to that martial uncle that he thinks highly of you. Once you enter the sect, that martial uncle will take care of you. If you have any problems, you can look for him." Chu Fengyang said to Duan Lingtian as he led Duan Lingtian away. "Before I take you to that martial uncle, you should go greet the dean first." After leaving the 10-star student dormitory and passing through the illusionary white fog formed by the array formation, Chu Fengyang led Duan Lingtian directly to the residence of the Hidden Fog Academy's dean, Murong Suifeng. "Dean." Murong Suifeng looked at Duan Lingtian and smiled. "Duan Lingtian, after you arrive at the sect, you still have to wait for some time before the core disciple exam begins. Before that, you should try to break through to the upper god realm as soon as possible. That way you will have a higher chance of passing the core disciple exam." The Hidden Fog sect's core disciple exam for intermediate gods was easier than the core disciple exam for upper gods. However, it wasn't much easier. Higher deities had an advantage over the rest. "If you can pass the core disciple exam and become a core disciple, at that time I will give you a gift," Murong Suifeng said. As soon as Murong Suifeng finished speaking, before Duan Lingtian could even speak, Chu Fengyang's eyes had already lit up. At the same time, he subconsciously looked at Duan Lingtian with an envious expression. "Duan Lingtian, you have to work hard. Not a single thing that the dean personally gives out isn't precious." Duan Lingtian looked at Murong Suifeng. His eyes flashed and he asked with a smile, "Dean, if the gift is a recipe for the power brew, I will be very interested." In Duan Lingtian's opinion, there weren't many things that Murong Suifeng could take out that would interest him. unless it was a divine pill, divine fruit, or divine herb that could help his cultivation. Apart from that, he wasn't interested in divine weapons or cultivation methods at all. This was because even the best divine weapon Murong Suifeng could take out couldn't compare to his high-grade divine weapon, the 7 Orifices exquisite sword. As for cultivation methods, the cultivation method he cultivated was an ultimate god-level cultivation method that originated from a supreme expert. As long as his talent could keep up, given enough time, he would definitely become an ultimate god. The recipe for the power brew? Murong Suifeng was stunned for a moment, then he couldn't help but shake his head. You are too useless. If you are interested in the recipe for the power brew, I can give it to you now. As soon as he finished speaking, Murong Suifeng took out a jade slip and secretly infused his divine power into it. Then he withdrew his divine power and handed the jade slip to Duanling Tian. The recipe for the power brew is inside. As for my promise to you, it doesn't include the recipe. As long as you become a core disciple, I will give you another gift. Thank you, Dean. Duanling Tian's eyes lit up when he received the recipe for the power brew. However, after hearing Murong Suifeng's words, he still expressed his gratitude. He couldn't tell Murong Suifeng that he wasn't interested in divine weapons or cultivation techniques other than those that could help improve his cultivation. If that happened, even if he didn't say that he had better divine weapons and cultivation techniques, some of his secrets would still be exposed. Once you enter the sect, I can't provide you with too much help. You will have to rely on yourself for everything. In the Hidden Fog Academy, I can cover the sky with one hand, but in the sect, I am only a vice sect master. Not to mention the other vice sect masters, even the protectors have the same status as me. Many of the protectors are also deans of Hidden Fog Academies in other cities like Tianfeng City. Before Duanling Tian left, Murong Suifeng told him a few more things. In the sect, it's not just the inner sect disciples. The inner sect elders are also the core disciples. There's also a clear division between the core elders. Since you've left my Tianfeng City's Hidden Fog Academy and entered the sect, it's equivalent to being branded with the Tianfeng City's legacy. Unless you become a disciple of another faction's elder, protector, or vice sect master, you won't be able to wash away the Tianfeng City's legacy. Murong Suifeng reminded him, within the sect, if you only have a conflict with people from the Wind City faction, I can help to mediate. However, if you have a conflict with people from other factions, I can't help even if I want to. Murong Suifeng's words also reminded Duanling Tian. Understood. Duanling Tian nodded. Although he didn't expect the Hidden Fog sect's waters to be so deep, he didn't take it to heart. As far as he was concerned, all he had to do was play his part. He wouldn't take the initiative to cause trouble. However, if trouble came to him, he wouldn't be afraid. Go, don't let Elder Tang Chun wait too long. After telling Duanling Tian what he wanted to say, Murong Suifeng asked Duanling Tian to find a Hidden Fog sect elder named Tang Chun. It wasn't hard for Duanling Tian to guess that this should be the Hidden Fog sect's inner sect elder that came to pick him up. After saying goodbye to Murong Suifeng, Duanling Tian went to find Tang Chun under Chu Fingyang's lead. Tang Chun was still at Yun Hui's residence. Teacher Yun. When Duanling Tian saw Yun Hui again, he quickly bowed to him. Then he looked at Tang Chun and bowed to him. Junior Duanling Tian greets Elder Tang Chun. Tang Chun was a tall and sturdy old man. His white hair was draped over his back, looking a little messy. Together with his body, he gave off a wild and unrestrained feeling. Now he was looking at Duanling Tian. His eyes shone with a sharp light as he sized up Duanling Tian. What a handsome little fellow. Duanling Tian, right? Yun Hui already told me to take good care of you. Once you follow me to the sect, if you have any problems, you can look for me. If I can't solve it, I'll do my best to help you. If I can't solve it, then you can only rely on yourself. When Tang Chun spoke, his voice was very rough and bold. Duanling Tian couldn't help but have a good impression of him. He could tell that this was a straightforward person. This kind of person was generally worth befriending. They did things openly and wouldn't act one way and act another. Thank you, Elder Tang. Duanling Tian smiled and thanked him. Tang Chun looked at Yun Hui and scolded him with a smile. I'll beat you up next time. Today I'll bring Duanling Tian back to the sect first. If you have nothing to do, come back to the sect more often to drink with me. You big ape, come to Tianfeng City to find me anytime. Yun Hui didn't want to be left behind and scolded him with a smile. Duanling Tian stood at the side and looked at the two old men who had such a good relationship that it made others envious. His thoughts couldn't help but wander. He thought of many old friends in the past, many of whom he hadn't seen for a long time. Some of them were even no longer in this world. Chapter 3660. Tang Chun was frank and outspoken, but he wasn't a person who only showed one thing on the surface. Even after leaving the Hidden Fog Academy and not being in front of Yun Hui, he was still very warm towards Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian, in the history of Wind City's Hidden Fog Academy, this is the first time a genius like you has appeared. It seems that this time our Wind City bloodline will be in the limelight in the sect. After leaving the Hidden Fog Academy, Tang Chun wasn't in a hurry to bring Duan Lingtian out of Wind City. Instead, he brought Duan Lingtian to a restaurant and walked in. Elder Tang Chun is overpraising me. Duan Lingtian shook his head and smiled. If you can maintain this momentum, even if you can't become a core disciple in the Divine Spirit realm, when you step into the Divine King realm, you will definitely become a core disciple. Tang Chun said with a smile, once you become a core disciple, you will receive the sect's unstinting cultivation. At the same time, you will enjoy the same treatment as us inner sect elders. As Tang Chun spoke, a trace of envy flashed in his eyes. In the Hidden Fog sect, that fellow Yun Hui and I can only be considered mediocre. We have worked hard for many years and worked tirelessly to reach where we are today. Once you become a core disciple, you will be able to surpass all of our hard work over the years. As soon as he finished speaking, Tang Chun let out a sigh of relief. He glanced at the crowded restaurant and said, the signature dishes of this restaurant are pretty good. In the past, every time I came to Wind City, I would come here for a meal without exception. Let's eat here and then leave. Hearing Tang Chun say this, Duan Lingtian naturally didn't have any objections. There are no private rooms? When he walked into the restaurant, Tang Chun asked the staff if there were any private rooms, but the reply he received was that there were none. Sir, I'm really sorry. It's lunchtime now, so all the private rooms are occupied. Even in the main hall, there are only a few empty tables and they've just been vacated. Would you like to condescend to sit in the main hall? Facing the restaurant waiter's apology, Tang Chun's slightly furrowed brows relaxed. Sure, you can arrange it for us. The two of us. Guest, please follow me. When the waiter heard this, he quickly and enthusiastically led Duan Lingtian and Duan Lingtian to a table that had just been cleaned up and sat down. After leaving the menu, he went to pour tea for the two of them. The signature dishes here are pretty good. You can try them too. Tang Chun said to Duan Lingtian with a smile. Duan Lingtian nodded immediately. Since Elder Tang Chun is praising the signature dish here, I'm sure it's not bad. I'll satisfy my cravings. After Duan Lingtian and Tang Chun ordered, they waited for a while before the dishes were served. A group of people walked out of a private room in the same restaurant. If Duan Lingtian was here, he would definitely recognize a familiar face. It was none other than the young master of the Zhong family, Chong Keki, who was also a 10-star student of the Hidden Mist Academy. He was widely recognized as the crown prince of the Zhong family. Young Master Keki, it's rare for you to ask for leave. Why don't you stay with us for a few more days? There's no need to rush back. Chong Kuchi walked in the front. Behind him there were 5 other people. They looked like they were about the same age as him. One of them was talking to him. There's no other way. Chong Keki shook his head and said, I only asked for 2 days leave. Today is the last day, so I have to go back. When I come out next time, I'll treat everyone to a good meal and have fun. Those who were with Chong Keki were not all from the Zhong family. They were all children of the Zhong family's subordinate families. They usually liked to follow behind Chong Keki as if Chong Keki was their leader. Chong Keki also liked the feeling of being followed one after another. Young Master Keki. At this time, another person asked in a deep voice, You and the Zhong family hate that Duan Lingtian. Should we find a way to get rid of him? Otherwise, when he goes to the Hidden Mist sect, it will be a big disaster for you and the Zhong family. You think we don't want to get rid of him? Chong Keki turned around and glared at the person who spoke. If he doesn't leave the Hidden Mist Academy, how can we get a chance? During the last 10-star student exam, he did leave the Hidden Mist Academy. But with teacher Yu Qianshan there, even our Zhong family's divine king won't be able to do anything. The reason Chong Keki asked for leave was because he felt that the Hidden Mist Academy was too depressing. Although no one was openly or secretly making fun of him for having his dorm seized by Duan Lingtian, the situation of him being Duan Lingtian's enemy still made him feel like there was a thorn in his back, so he took 2 days off to relax. At the same time, he wanted to personally ask the seniors in his family if they had any plans to take revenge on Duan Lingtian. Today, after coming out of the family, he learned that the family was waiting for the Duanling Tian to go to the hidden mist sect before dealing with the Duanling Tian. He was in a bad mood. Then he found a few people behind him and went to the family's restaurant to eat and drink. Now they were about to leave. Chong Keki took the lead and led the few people through the long private room passage to the hall outside. In the Zhong family's restaurant, if you want to leave the private room, you have to go through the hall. Young master. Young master. Wherever Chong Keki went, the restaurant's waiters respectfully saluted him. Obviously they all knew Chong Keki and his identity. Chong Keki ignored these waiters and walked into the hall and out the door. Young Master Chi, your Zhong family's restaurant is really good. Even the hall is full. A young man behind him glanced at the hall and sighed. When Chong Keki heard this, he also subconsciously glanced at the hall. It was this glance that made him unable to move his eyes away. Because he saw a familiar figure, a figure that he often saw in his nightmares recently. Recently, he often dreamed that he was killed by the person in front of him. Duanling Tian? Why did he come out? Did he also ask for leave? This was Chong Keki's first thought. At the same time, he began to look at the figure across the table from Duanling Tian. After a few more glances, he concluded that the person was not a teacher of the Hidden Fog Academy. It seems that this person might be his elder. His elder came to Tianfeng City, so he asked for leave to meet with him? And he just happened to come to our Zhong family's restaurant? Chong Keki took a deep breath and began to walk back to the private room passage. This action not only confused the waiters on both sides of the passage, but also the people behind him. Young Master Chi, what's wrong with you? Shut up. Chong Keki directly shouted at the waiters. His tone was very serious, so the waiters did not dare to speak again. The next moment, under the watchful eyes of the waiters, Chong Keki began to send a message to several soul beads in his storage ring. The people he sent the message to were his father, Chong Er, the second master of the Chong family, his uncle, Chong Er, and his two uncles, Chong Er and Chong Er. Now Chong Er and Chong Er had returned from outside and were in the Chong family's mansion. When the four of them learned from Chong Keki that Duanling Tian was suspected to be with his family in their restaurant, even if they were in different places, a murderous intent flashed in their eyes. Chong Er, the patriarch of the Chong family, directly sent a message to Chong Er. Er, are you in your restaurant? Big brother, I'm here. Chong Er responded immediately, I'm with Chong Keki now. Now send your people to get the disc array. We have to seal the space around the restaurant and not let any messages out. Then we have to trap Duanling Tian and kill him. Duanling Tian is in the hall, right? See if you can find a way to arrange for them to enter the private room. Then, set up a formation outside the private room to further cut off the connection between him and the people outside. As the patriarch of the Chong family, Chong Er's idea was very clear. He wanted to kill Duanling Tian in the restaurant. Yes, big brother. Chong Er responded respectfully. Chong Keki, are you sure the person with Duanling Tian is not a teacher of the Hidden Fog Academy? Chong Er asked Chong Keki. Chong Keki responded decisively, Uncle, I've been in the Hidden Fog Academy for nearly 2,000 years. I know all the teachers in the Hidden Fog Academy, but I don't know that person. That person is definitely not a teacher of the Hidden Fog Academy. I understand. Chong Er responded and then said, I'll let your father go over personally. Tell your fourth uncle to wait for your father to arrive before we act. Also, before the formation is set up, don't expose yourself. Don't let Duanling Tian feel any danger. After killing that Duanling Tian, you must destroy his body and remove all traces. This way, even if someone recognizes him and sees him enter the restaurant, as long as there is no evidence left, even the dean of the Hidden Fog Academy can't directly deal with our Chong family. This is a good opportunity. Maybe today our Chong family can completely eliminate this hidden danger. Chong Er's words were very cautious. At the same time, from his tone, it was obvious that he regarded Duanling Tian as a great enemy of the Chong family. After listening to Chong Er's message, Chong Keki's eyes completely lit up. At the same time, he repeatedly passed on Chong Er's message to Chong Si. At the same time, Chong Si answered and asked his subordinates. When he found out that the sturdy old man next to Duanling Tian wanted a private room, he immediately called the manservant who served Duanling Tian and Duanling Tian to the front. Go and look for the old man and the young man you served earlier. Tell them there's a private room and they can move in. Tell them you're the one who fought for the room for them as an apology for not arranging a private room for them. In fact, this excuse was very far-fetched. However, Chong Si felt that as long as Duanling Tian didn't know that this restaurant belonged to the Chong family, he wouldn't be suspicious. And it turned out that Chong Si's guess was right. Duan Ling Tian indeed didn't suspect anything. Even Tang Chun, who was next to Duan Ling Tian, didn't suspect anything. Ling Tian War Reverend Peeling Tian War Reverend 24520 Dextulp. Chapter 3661. Duan Ling Tian and Tang Chun sat in the private room. Seeing that the waiter had helped them get a private room, Tang Chun did not ask the waiter to bring in the remaining half of the food and wine outside. Instead, he ordered another table of food and wine. "Thank you, sir." Seeing that Tang Chun was so generous, the waiter bowed and thanked him. Then he turned around and prepared to leave. "Sir, please wait a moment. I will go to the kitchen and ask them to serve you another table of food and wine." After the waiter left, Tang Chun continued to chat with Duan Ling Tian. "Duan Ling Tian, do you have a partner? I have a little niece who is pretty and beautiful. If you are interested." Before Tang Chun could finish, Duan Ling Tian had already interrupted him. "Elder Tang Chun, I already have a wife and children." At this moment, Duan Ling Tian smiled bitterly. He did not expect that Tang Chun, who had been talking with him about other things a moment ago, would suddenly change the topic to this point and start to play matchmaker. Actually, it is normal for a capable man to have several wives and concubines. Tang Chun obviously did not intend to let Duan Ling Tian go so easily. "Elder Tang Chun, you really don't need to." In the end, Duan Ling Tian insisted that Tang Chun give up on introducing a partner to Duan Ling Tian. At the same time, the person that fourth Elder Zhong sent to the Chong family also got the array disc and rushed back to the restaurant immediately. At the same time, the second master of the Chong family, Chong Heir, was also on his way to the restaurant. "Let's set up the array first." The person that fourth Elder Zhong sent to the Chong family to get the array disc was an old man who was also a capable subordinate of fourth Elder Zhong. If Duan Ling Tian saw him, he would definitely find him familiar. This was because when Duan Ling Tian, Duan Xiaoyu, and Yu Qiushuan were in the private room at the Zhou family's auction, this old man had entered the private room with the people of the Zhou family's auction. The array disc that fourth Elder Zhong sent back to the Chong family to get was one of the Chong family's heirlooms. It could be used to set up an extremely ingenious divine array, and the function of this divine array was to block communication. Within the divine array, no messages could be sent out. "Duan Ling Tian, you will die today." When Chong Si took the disc array to arrange the array formation, Chong Kuchi's eyes flashed with a bloodthirsty light. In his opinion, Duan Ling Tian would definitely die under the Chong family's arrangement today. A month ago, when he learned that Duan Ling Tian had obtained more than 120,000 points in the 10-star student trial, despair had even risen in his heart. He felt that his life was destined to be dark if he had to face such an enemy, unless he could make the other party die prematurely and be unable to grow. It was also at that time that the Chong family behind him became determined to kill Duan Ling Tian. However, although the Chong family wanted to kill Duan Ling Tian, they also knew that as long as Duan Ling Tian didn't leave the Hidden Fog Academy, and when he left the Hidden Fog Academy, the Chong family would never succeed. But this time, Duan Ling Tian suddenly left the Hidden Fog Academy and appeared in the Chong family's restaurant without the Hidden Fog Academy's teachers. This was undoubtedly an opportunity for the Chong family. A chance to kill Duan Ling Tian. With the talent and strength that Duan Ling Tian had shown, once he grew up in the future he would definitely be a big threat to the Chong family. The Chong family wanted to kill him even in their dreams. Now that the opportunity had come, the Chong family naturally wouldn't miss it. "Fourth uncle, is everything ready?" Chong Kuchi's eyes suddenly brightened when he saw Chong Si return with his people. "Yes." Chong Si nodded with a smile and then asked, "Why aren't those little guys with you? They haven't left yet, right?" "No." Chong Kuchi shook his head. "I arranged for them to stay in the private room where we ate today, and I didn't tell them what I was going to do. I just said that I had something to do and told them to wait for me in the private room." "Well done." Chong Si nodded with appreciation. "Now, we just need to wait for your father to come with another array disc and set up the array to seal Duan Ling Tian's private room. Once the second array is set up, it will be even safer. At that time, we'll be able to make our move and kill Duan Ling Tian. We'll be able to solve this problem for our Zhong clan." As Chong Si finished speaking, his eyes were filled with kindness. Chong Kuchi's face was slightly flushed with excitement, but then he smiled brightly. "They say that dreams are the opposite of reality, and now it seems that it is true. In the past few days he had many similar dreams. In the dream, Duan Ling Tian destroyed the Chong family and killed him with his own hands. Every time he would wake up in fright. In the past few days he didn't dare to sleep and had been cultivating more seriously than usual. The second master of the Chong family, Chong Heir as Chong Kuchi's biological father, looked somewhat similar to Chong Kuchi, but his temperament was completely different. Chong Kuchi was more like a child. Chong Heir, on the other hand, exuded a mature and wise aura. At a glance, one could tell that his identity was not ordinary. Father. Seeing the arrival of Chong Heir, Chong Kuchi's eyes lit up, and at the same time he greeted him with a smile. "You're here." Chong Heir nodded to Chong Kuchi, and a rare smile appeared on his originally calm and indifferent face. "Kuchi, this time, thanks to your timely discovery. Otherwise, our Chong family would have lost an opportunity to kill Duan Lingtian. Now, which private room is Duan Lingtian and the people around him in?" After learning from Chong Kuchi and Chong Si that Duan Lingtian was in the private room, Chong Heir's eyes flashed with killing intent. "Did you check the cultivation of the old man beside him?" "No." Chong Si shook his head. "Second brother, we don't have a god king among us, so we don't dare to rashly use our divine consciousness to check the people around Duan Lingtian. It's not a good thing to act rashly and alert the enemy and scare them away. And you've done well." Chong Heir nodded approvingly. Then he raised his hand and a formation plate flew out. In an instant, a formation extended and enveloped the private room, causing the entire room to tremble. At this moment, even Duan Lingtian and Tang Chun in the private room sensed the abnormality in the private room. Just as Tang Chun frowned and did not have time to scan the room with his divine consciousness, the door of the private room was slammed open by a huge force with a bang. Following that, 4 figures walked in from outside, 2 in front and 2 behind. Their speed was not fast and their movements were nothing special, but at this moment they were eye-catching. To be more precise, they attracted the attention of Duan Lingtian and Tang Chun. Chong Kuchi. With just a glance, Duan Lingtian recognized Chong Kuchi, who was also a 10-star student from the Hidden Fog Academy. Then he noticed the old man standing next to Chong Kuchi, who was standing behind the 2 middle-aged men, looked familiar. It was as though he had seen him before, but he could not recall where he had seen him. However, just because Duan Lingtian could not remember, it did not mean that the old man could not remember. The moment the old man behind Chong Heir saw Duan Lingtian's face, his pupils shrank sharply, and then his expression changed dramatically. Wasn't this purple-clad young man the same young man he saw in the 9th private room of the Zhou family's auction when the Divine Emperor Grade Cultivation method was auctioned off? At that time he went to that private room mainly to investigate the other party's background. That was because the other party had forcibly won the Jia Yi and Bing San Divine Pellet that the 4th master of the Chong family wanted. Because of that, the 4th master of the Chong family felt that the other party did not give him and the Chong family face, so he wanted to investigate the other party's background and wait until the auction was over to take revenge, or even forcibly take back the Jia Yi and Bing San Divine Pellet. At that time he followed the people of the Zhou family's auction into the private room. At that time, there was not only the purple-clad young man in the room, but also a young girl who seemed to be very close to him, and a beautiful woman who was sitting beside her. At first he did not take the young girl and the beautiful woman seriously. Later, when the second elder of the Thousand Demon sect, Han Ligong, a high-level divine king, spoke rudely to the young girl and was almost killed by the beautiful woman, a group of people, including him, realized that the beautiful woman was a divine emperor expert, and the young girl beside her was called Miss by her, so her status must be very high too. After the young girl and the beautiful woman left, many people started to look for the purple-clad young man who had won the Jia Yi and Bing San Divine Pellet. They all wanted to be friends with him so that they could establish a relationship with the young girl and the beautiful woman. Based on the young girl and the beautiful woman's behavior, they were at least from a top divine emperor force, or even from an emperor force. However, the young girl and the beautiful woman had left a long time ago, so they all wanted to make friends with the young man whose voice they had only heard before. However, they did not find the young man. Other than the person who had gone to the Zhou family's auction to collect money from the young man, he was the only one who knew what the young man looked like. However, he had never thought that he would see the young man again at this time and place. Why is he here? The old man's heart skipped a beat, and his expression changed slightly. He subconsciously looked at the old man beside Duan Lingtian. Now Duan Lingtian was looking at them calmly. The old man was also looking at them, but his eyes were filled with indifference and disgust. Duan Lingtian. Chong Keki stood behind Chong Heir. He looked at Duan Lingtian and coldly smiled. I didn't think you would be so bold. You actually dared to leave the academy, Moreover, you don't even have a teacher by your side. Tell me, if you die here today, will the academy find out that it was me who did it? Chong Keki's sneer deepened, and there was a hint of mockery in his eyes. You want to kill me? Duan Lingtian glanced at Chong Keki. Then he looked at Chong Er and Chong Er standing in front of him. Or, is it your Chong family that wants to kill me? Chong family? At the same time, Tang Chun, who was sitting beside Duan Lingtian, also had a gloomy expression. The Chong family wanted to kill Duan Lingtian in front of him, an inner sect elder of the Hidden Fog sect. Chapter 3662. You're Duan Lingtian? Chong Er's eyes fell on Duan Lingtian as he nodded. Talent and comprehension are a must, and you are a man of striking appearance. If you were willing to join our Chong family, it would be beneficial to both you and the Chong family. Unfortunately, I heard that you refused our invitation and even slaughtered all of our Chong family's disciples in the Hidden Mist Academy's 10-star trial ground. Do you have anything to say before you die? Chong Er looked at Duan Lingtian indifferently as he spoke unhurriedly. Just now, when he came in, he used his divine sense to scan Duan Lingtian and the old man beside him. He confirmed that Duan Lingtian was an intermediate god and that the old man beside Duan Lingtian was a superior god. Because of this, he no longer had any concerns. Under the obstruction of the Chong family's 2 array discs, not to mention 2 gods, even 2 superior god kings would not be able to send out a message. In other words, today, even if the Chong family killed the person in front of them, as long as they did it cleanly, no one would know what happened here. But Duan Lingtian smiled faintly, then his eyes narrowed as he asked bluntly, Who are you? The head of the Chong family? Before Chong Er could speak, his son Chong Keki spoke first. Duan Lingtian, this is my father, the second master of the Chong family, Chong Er. And this one beside my father is my 4th uncle, the 4th master of the Chong family, Chong Er. Chong Er? Chong Er? Duan Lingtian glanced at the 2 middle-aged men in front of him, then his eyes fell on Chong Er as a trace of ridicule appeared at the corner of his mouth. Speaking of which, 4th Master Chong of the Chong family had long interacted with him. Not long after he came to Tianfeng City, even before he entered the Hidden Mist Academy, he had bid for an item at the Zhou family's auction. The Jianghu and Bing San Divine Pill was bought by this Chong Er from the Chong family. At that time, only the 2 of them were left competing. Chong Er? Level 4? Tang Chun, who was standing beside Duan Lingtian, sneered, The Chong family is really impressive. However, Zhong Er and Zhong Er completely ignored Tang Chun's sneer. In their eyes, Tang Chun was merely a useless senior of Duan Lingtian, a mere higher deity. They could easily kill someone like him countless times over. Zhong Er had already stepped into the Divine King realm in his early years. Even Zhong Si had also successfully stepped into the Divine King realm a few days ago, becoming a lower Divine King. 2nd Master Chong? 4th Master Zhong? A hint of mockery could be seen on the corner of Duan Lingtian's mouth as he looked at the 2 of them mockingly. I wonder if it's the both of you or the Zhong clan's intention to kill me. I can represent the Zhong family, Zhong Er said indifferently. Although he did not know why Duan Lingtian was still so calm, he believed that he had the situation under control. Therefore he was not worried at all. The moment Zhong Er finished speaking, Chong Er, who was standing beside him, suddenly trembled. In the next moment, when his eyes fell on Duan Lingtian again, they were filled with shock and fear. His face was pale as if he had seen a ghost. And the reason why he had such a change in the blink of an eye was entirely because the old man behind him had just transmitted a message to him. The Duan Lingtian in front of him was the person who had competed with him for the Jianghu and Bing San Divine Pill at the Zhou family's auction. At that time, when Duan Lingtian had stolen the Jianghu and Bing San Divine Pill, he was furious. He swore to himself that he would not let Duan Lingtian off. However, the beautiful woman who had walked out of the 9th private room had displayed her strength as a godly emperor and had crushed the 2nd elder of the 10,000 demon sect, a godly emperor-level sect. He couldn't help but feel a lingering fear. At the same time, he knew that the person who didn't give him face and took away the 3 divine pellet wasn't someone he could afford to offend. Although he did not know the relationship between that person and the beautiful woman, he did not know. According to the old man behind him, the young lady whom the beautiful woman had addressed as Miss was very intimate with the young man in room 9. It was as if they were siblings. From that moment on, he knew that he could not afford to offend Duan Lingtian. After that, the beautiful woman and the young lady who had the strength of a divine emperor left. Only the young man did not leave. His first thought was not to take revenge on Duan Lingtian, but to befriend him. At that time, there were many people who had the same idea as him. However, they could not find the young man in the end. Chong Si thought that since the people around him had seen the young man, they would have an advantage in finding him and befriending him. Therefore, he asked the old man to look for the young man's whereabouts. However, they did not find anything. Today, when they were facing Duan Lingtian, a prodigy from the Hidden Fog Academy who was a great threat to the Chong family, the old man behind him told him that Duan Lingtian was the purple-clad young man in room 9 of the Zhou family's auction. He had seen him before. Chong Si repeatedly confirmed this with the old man through sound transmission. However, the old man was very certain. Master Chong Si, I can't be wrong. His clothes, his appearance and his temperament are all the same. Chong Si felt a chill run down his spine. When he looked at the purple-clad young man's playful expression again, his heart trembled. Duan Lingtian, you've asked enough questions. Get ready to go. Chong Chi, who was standing behind Chong Si, sneered as he looked at Duan Lingtian with killing intent in his eyes. Duan Lingtian looked at Chong Chi deeply, but he did not say anything. At this time, Tang Chun, who was next to Duan Lingtian, stood up at the right time, his eyes flashing with coldness. At the same time, Chong Si also sent a message to Chong Si, telling him that Duan Lingtian was the person in room 9 of the Zhou family's auction. Chong Si was shocked. He never thought that the two people would be the same person. Si, are you sure? Chong Si asked again. Second brother, I'm sure it's him. Chong Si responded. What should we do now? We, and even the Chong family, seem to have become enemies with him. Pretend you don't know. Chong Si's pupils shrank and he soon made a decision. He and the people around him are all gods. Even if he dies here, as long as we block the news, no one will know that it was us who did it. Second brother, Chong Chi's friends noticed that Chong Chi was acting strangely today. Chong Si reminded him. After killing Duan Lingtian and the old man around him, kill all those people to prevent future trouble. Chong Si said decisively. Okay. Zhong Si's eyes also flashed with a hint of firmness and determination. Perhaps the purple-clothed young man's background was indeed not something that their Zhong clan could afford to offend, but now that their Zhong clan had already formed an irreconcilable enmity with him, there was no way that they would let him go. Once he left, he might send a message to a group of powerhouses to destroy the Chong family. But now the other party was like a trapped beast in a cage. Even if the other party was related to a godly emperor or even a godly emperor, after killing him, the other party wouldn't be able to find out the cause of his death. If they did not kill the purple-clad young man, the Chong family would most likely be destroyed. If they killed the purple-clad young man, the Chong family would most likely be able to survive. It was not difficult to make a choice in such a situation. Just as Chong Si and Chong Si looked at Duan Lingtian again with killing intent in their eyes, a cold snort suddenly exploded in the room like a clap of thunder. It was none other than Tang Chun, who had just stood up. Good, very good. Tang Chun's eyes were like lightning as he stared at Chong Si. His complexion was extremely ugly. The Chong family is truly amazing. Amazing. A mere God King level family actually dares to try and kill a hidden fog sect inner sect disciple in front of me? You and even the Chong family have really eaten a bear's heart and leopard's guts. Tang Chun was truly enraged. For better or worse, he was an inner sect elder of the Hidden Fog sect. The reason he came to Skywind City was to pick up Duan Lingtian, an outstanding Hidden Fog Academy student recommended by Dean Murong Suifeng to participate in the core disciple assessment. Even if he couldn't pass the assessment, Duan Lingtian was still a quasi-inner sect disciple of the Hidden Fog Academy. It was just that the procedures hadn't been completed yet. Hidden Fog sect inner sect disciple? Hearing Tang Chun's words, Chong Si and the others were stunned. Then Chong Keki sneered and said, Old man, are you still dreaming that Duan Lingtian can become an inner sect disciple of the Hidden Fog sect? How laughable. Today Duan Lingtian and even you will die here. Once you die, no matter how outstanding you are, it is impossible for you to pass the Hidden Fog Academy and enter the Hidden Fog sect, let alone become an inner sect disciple. Chong Keki sneered. Chong Si and Chong Si also had cold smiles on their faces. As for the old man behind Chong Si, his eyes flashed with uncertainty. Although Chong Si had just told him about his choice with the Chong family's second master, he still wasn't sure. This was because he had seen the beautiful woman with the strength of a divine emperor and the young girl beside Duan Lingtian at the Zhou family's auction. At that time, The beautiful woman had been sitting to the side, as if she were the servant of the young girl and Duan Lingtian. That scene was something that only he, who had seen it with his own eyes, could clearly feel. He always felt that in this situation, it was unwise to try and kill Duan Lingtian. It would be better to bend down and apologize. Even if he had to pay a certain price, even if he couldn't protect Chong Keki, he should be able to protect the Chong family. After Duan Lingtian dies, I should leave the Chong family, the old man thought to himself. He always felt uneasy in his heart. The Chong family really has good upbringing. Even a junior dares to be so presumptuous in front of me. Tang Chun sneered, even Chong Si himself has to bow respectfully when he sees me. Chapter 3663. As soon as Tang Chun spoke, Chong Keki was stunned. This old man, even his uncle had to bow and greet him respectfully when he saw him? Chong Keki did not even have time to react. Upon hearing Tang Chun's words, before Chong Keki could react, Chong Keki sneered. Old man, you're just a higher deity. How dare you spout such nonsense in front of us? Aren't you afraid that we'll laugh our heads off? Chong Keki could not help but laugh. You're just a higher deity. If I want to kill you, it'll be as easy as flipping my hand. As soon as Chong Keki finished speaking, a majestic divine power burst out of his body, exuding a majestic and vast aura that caused the atmosphere in the room to stagnate. The aura of this divine power was completely different from that of a deity. Upon sensing this aura, Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes. Isn't this Chong Keki a higher deity? This divine power aura is not something a higher deity can possess. He broke through and became a god king? Before Duan Lingtian entered the Hidden Fog Academy, he had heard many people at the Zhou clan's auction mention Chong Keki's cultivation. He knew that Chong Keki was a higher deity with extraordinary strength. But now, the faint divine power emanating from Chong Keki's body clearly did not belong to a deity. Oh, Chong Keki has also broken through and become a god king? Tang Chun smirked when he sensed Chong Keki's divine power aura. But I'm curious, where did you get the confidence to think that you can kill me with a flip of your hand? Chong Keki's mocking smile deepened. Since you know that I've broken through and become a god king, you're just a higher deity, yet you think I can't kill you with a flip of my hand? Chong Keki, who was following behind Chong Keki, also had a mocking expression on his face. Old man, if you kneel down and beg for mercy now, my fourth uncle might be merciful and leave you an intact corpse. Tang Chun didn't pay attention to this junior, Chong Kechi. He looked at Zhong Si and smiled. When did a lower divine king become so presumptuous in front of me, Tang Chun? As soon as Tang Chun's voice fell, Zhong Si didn't feel anything, but Zhong Er couldn't help but frown slightly. This was because he felt that the name, Tang Chun, was somewhat familiar, as if he had heard it somewhere before. However, even though he had an impression of it, he couldn't recall it at all. Whoosh! Just as Zhong Er was frowning slightly, an even more powerful divine aura swept out from Tang Chun's body. In fact, the moment it appeared, it suppressed Zhong Er's divine aura in one fell swoop. Even Zhong Si's expression changed drastically when he sensed the aura of this divine power. Even his big brother, the head of the Zhong family, didn't have such a powerful aura when he activated his godly power. One had to know that his big brother was a medium god king. High divine king. When Zhong Er looked at Tang Chun again, his expression was extremely unsightly. He did not expect the burly old man in front of him to be a wolf in sheep's clothing. He wasn't a higher deity at all. Instead, he was a higher deity king. Only a higher divine king's divine power aura could be so powerful. In the realms of gods, there was no lack of treasures that could conceal one's cultivation base. However, such treasures rarely appeared in Tianfeng City or the surrounding areas. Even if there were, very few people would use them. In this world where the strong were respected, it was too late to show off one's strength. Unless it was absolutely necessary, no one would intentionally conceal their cultivation base. However, today he just so happened to meet such a person. A higher divine king who had concealed his cultivation base. At this moment, not only did Zhong Er's expression turn unsightly, but even Zhong Si's expression changed drastically. Although he had just broken through to become a god king, he knew what his big brother's divine power aura was like. The person in front of him had completely surpassed his big brother's divine power aura. The other party was a higher divine king. Zhong Si's expression turned extremely unsightly when he recalled how he had threatened the other party earlier. He did not expect the person he had provoked to be a higher divine king instead of a higher divine king. At this moment, Jianghu despaired. My lord, Jianghu looked at Tang Chun, his voice trembling violently from fear. I was just joking earlier. Please don't take it to heart. Joking? Tang Chun sneered. Do you think I'm a 3-year-old child? When Jianghu heard this, his body trembled again. His face was ashen and his eyes were filled with despair. At the same time, he instinctively looked at Zhong beside him and hurriedly transmitted his voice to him. Second brother, save me. He did not think that even his second brother would be able to save him. After all, based on the background of the young lady and the beautiful woman who had been with Duan Lingtian earlier, Duan Lingtian was at least from a divine emperor force. The higher divine king by Duan Lingtian's side was definitely an expert from that divine emperor force. He had already given up all hope. He felt that there was an 80% to 90% chance that he would die. However, in the face of death, he still subconsciously reached out his hand and grabbed Zhong as if he was grasping at a straw. At this moment, Chongqi, who was standing behind Zhong was also pale with fright. After his body trembled for a while, he slumped to the ground, and the smell of urine rose from his body. Higher divine king. The person he had just mocked was actually a higher divine king? Because he was close to his father, Zhong he had clearly heard Zhong trembling voice. It was because of this that he knew that the other party was a higher divine king. Zhong face was also ashen. However, when he thought of the name that the other party had just said, a light flashed in his mind. He subconsciously looked at Tang Chun and cupped his hands in respect. Senior, are you the Hidden Fog sect's elder Tang Chun? He remembered. Last time, an elder of his Zhong family who was in the Hidden Fog sect had returned to the family and mentioned the name, Tang Chun. It seemed that this elder didn't have a good relationship with Tang Chun, but they were both inner sect elders of the Hidden Fog sect. Moreover, they were both from the Hidden Fog sect's Skywind City. They didn't like each other, but they couldn't do anything to each other. Without any hesitation, as he asked Tang Chun, Zhong hurriedly used the soul bead in his storage ring to send a message to his big brother, the Zhong family patriarch, Zhong He informed Zhong of everything that had happened here. At this moment, not only did Zhong remove the formation disc he had brought with him, but he also had his fourth brother remove the formation disc. He had sent someone to the Chong family to retrieve the formation disc he had set up. With the two array disbanded, the transmission of messages was no longer restricted. After sending a message to his big brother, Zhong hurriedly reminded him, Big brother, hurry up and contact the patriarch, have the patriarch send a message to Elder Tang Chun. Tell him to spare me, fourth brother, and This time only the patriarch can save us. The Zhong family's patriarch was Zhong and Zhong grandfather's father. He had a very high status in the Zhong family, and he was also the one with the best status in the Hidden Fog sect. Zhong never thought that his second brother, fourth brother, and nephew would provoke a character like Tang Chun. He didn't dare to be negligent. He hurriedly sent out a message through a soul bead. In the entire Zhong family, only the patriarch had the Zhong family's patriarch's soul bead. Only Zhong could contact the Zhong family's patriarch. In a restaurant belonging to the Zhong family. Inside a private room under the leadership of Zhong Zhong Si, Zhong Keki, and even the old man behind Zhong Si were kneeling on the ground, their bodies shivering. Elder Tang Chun, we didn't recognize you and offended you. This is our fault. We hope that you can take into account our ignorance and spare our lives for the sake of our patriarch. Zhong knelt on the ground, his tone sincere as he spoke. What? You won't kill me now? Tang Chun looked at Zhong Si and sneered. Elder Tang Chun, please spare my life. Zhong Si's kneeling body violently trembled. Then he began to beg for mercy. What were you doing earlier? Tang Chun sneered. A cold light flashed in his eyes. The aura of God force around his body began to shake. A terrifying strength began to stir in this small private room. Tang Chun was a higher God king. But today someone wanted to kill him. Moreover, it was only a small lower God king. How could he endure this? If his strength was inferior to this person's today, wouldn't he have been killed? Elder Tang Chun, please spare my life. After Zhong Si sensed Tang Chun's killing intent, he hurriedly kowtowed and begged for mercy. He didn't even realize that he was bleeding. Duan Ling Tian remained seated in front of the table as he watched the scene in front of him. In his opinion, the Zhong clan only had themselves to blame for ending up in such a state. They actually dared to threaten to kill him in front of Tang Chun, an inner sect elder of the Hidden Fog sect. Moreover, they even threatened to kill Tang Chun. They were simply seeking their own deaths. However, I fear that today Elder Tang Chun will at most kill those who offended him. As for the Zhong family, even if Elder Tang Chun can testify that the Zhong family wants to kill me, it is impossible for the Hidden Fog sect to do anything to the Zhong family just because I am an inner sect disciple. In fact, even if I am a core disciple, as long as the Zhong family doesn't leave behind any evidence, the Hidden Fog sect won't be able to do anything to the Zhong family. After all, the Zhong family has several inner sect elders and no less than 20 outer sect elders in the Hidden Fog sect. When he was at Hidden Fog Academy, Duan Lingtian had learned about the Zhong family from Ding Yan and Ho Qingning. He knew that the Zhong family had a deep background. Even within the Hidden Fog sect, they had many complicated, hard relationships. Thus, Duan Lingtian knew that the Zhong family wouldn't be so easy to bring down. If he wanted to bring down the Zhong family, he would have to rely on himself. However, as he thought about how he would be able to watch the 3 people from the Zhong family die today, he couldn't help but feel joy in his heart. He didn't feel any pity at all. After all, these people wanted to kill him. Chapter 3664. Duan Lingtian would not show mercy to those who wanted to kill him. Therefore, he looked at everything in front of him indifferently. Boom. Rumble. Tang Chun's divine power swept out, fused with ultimates, and his momentum was vast as if it could pierce through the void. His aura was completely locked onto Chong Si. In Tang Chun's eyes there was a murderous intent. Even Duan Lingtian, who was sitting to the side, could feel the murderous intent from Tang Chun. It was because of this that he felt that the 3 from the Chong family were unlucky. However, just as Tang Chun's divine power vibrated and was about to make a move, his divine power aura suddenly stagnated and was forcibly held back. To be more precise, he held back a lot. Bang. Accompanied by a soft sound, Tang Chun withdrew most of his divine power and withdrew his ultimates, and hit Chong Si's body, sending him flying and crashing into the wall on the side of the box. Chong Si's body fell and blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, but there was a relieved smile on his face. Thank you, Elder Tang Chun, for not killing me. Seeing this, Chong Er's eyes lit up. Just as Heavy Two's eyes lit up, Tang Chun's divine power once again extended and hit Heavy Two's body, causing Heavy Two to fly out and hit the wall and fall to the ground. Chong Kuchi's cultivation was much weaker than Chong Si's. Even if Tang Chun controlled his divine power well, he was still seriously injured, and he kept spitting out mouthfuls of dazzling blood. Unfilial son, why don't you thank Elder Tang Chun for not killing you? Chong Er looked at Chong Kuchi and shouted sternly. Chong Kuchi came back to his senses and hurriedly thanked Tang Chun. Thank you, Elder Tang Chun, for not killing me. At the same time, Chong Er glanced at Duan Lingtian from the corner of his eyes, and the joy of surviving a disaster in his heart disappeared. When Tang Chun stopped the assassin in time and only injured his 4th brother, he knew that the old master of the Chong family must have contacted Tang Chun and persuaded him to spare his 4th brother, and even him and his son. Otherwise, with Tang Chun's killing intent just now, not to mention him and his son Chong Kuchi, his 4th brother Chong Si would definitely die. However, although their lives were saved, the joy that had just risen in his heart was completely extinguished the moment he saw Duan Lingtian. Even if they did not die today, Duan Lingtian would not let them go. Thinking of this, he could not help but feel his scalp go numb. Bang. With another loud bang, Zhong Er's body also flew off the ground and smashed into the wall. He was injured, but he didn't care about this injury. After thanking Tang Chun for not killing him, he hurriedly sent a message to his elder brother, the head of the Zhong family. Big brother, even if we survive now, I'm afraid this Duan Lingtian will be our end. At this point, Chong Er recounted everything that Chong Si had told him to his big brother Chong Er. What? When Big Brother learned that Duan Lingtian was the young man suspected to be from a God Emperor or God Emperor level force, his expression changed instantly. How could this be? He couldn't figure it out at all. Wasn't the other party just a student of the Hidden Fog Academy? Why did he suddenly have such an identity? Is there a mistake? If he has such a background, why did he enter the Hidden Fog Academy and the Hidden Fog sect? Big Brother questioned. I don't know. Big Brother, what should we do now? I have already opened the array that seals the communication. Maybe he has already sent a message to the God Emperor level or God Emperor level force behind him about what happened here. Why don't we take a risk and let the old master send a message to Elder Tang Chun and ask Elder Tang Chun to let us kill him to prevent future trouble? If he hasn't sent a message, we have won the bet, Chong Er said. That's enough time for him to slowly send a message to the others. However, Big Brother rejected Chong-er's idea. Next, you should try your best to seek his forgiveness. For such a person, it's better not to make enemies if possible. If he is willing to resolve the grudges, our Chong family is willing to pay the price. Even if he asks for an exorbitant price, as long as our Chong family has the ability, we are willing to satisfy him. Big Brother's tone revealed a deep helplessness. From now on, our Chong family can no longer be enemies with him. He didn't know which God Emperor or God Emperor level force Duan Tian belonged to. However, he did have a close relationship with a girl that his fourth brother's confidant saw with his own eyes. His fourth brother's confidant was an old man in the Chong family, so it was impossible for him to lie. There was also no need for him to lie. That wasn't the main point. The main point was that the girl who was close to Duan Tian and looked like Duan Tian's brother had been respectfully addressed as young miss by a God Emperor expert. It was obvious that she was his follower. Only the princesses of the top God Emperor level forces or the children of the upper echelons of God Emperor level forces would be able to have a God Emperor as their follower. Such a person only needed to say a word to topple the Chong family and erase their name from the profound Handle land. I originally thought that Elder Tang Chun would kill them. At the very least he would kill a level 4. I didn't expect that he didn't even kill a single one of them. Duan Tian sat at the side and watched everything before him with an indifferent gaze. Tang Chun didn't kill the 3 people in front of him. However, he had clearly seen Tang Chun stop in time. It wasn't hard to guess that Tang Chun had received a message and didn't kill the 3 people from the Chong family for some reason. This time, I won't kill all of you because of Chong Tianqing. However, if you dare to disrespect me again, I won't show any mercy even if Chong Tianqing pleads for mercy on your behalf. Tang Chun said in a low voice after injuring the 3 people from the Chong family. He sat back down and stared coldly at the 3 people from the Chong family. The 3 people from the Chong family hurriedly replied that there wouldn't be a next time. Also, you wanted to kill Duan Tian just now? Tang Chun glanced at the 3 people and said, if I'm not mistaken, you want to kill Duan Tian on behalf of the Chong family? Elder Tang Chun, you heard wrong. How could we kill Duan Tian? When Chong Si and Chong Keki were stunned, Chong-er hurriedly waved his hand and shook his head. Our Chong family respects young Master Duan Tian as an honored guest. If that's the case, why don't you apologize to Duan Tian? Tang Chun said in a low voice. When Duan Tian heard Tang Chun's words, he knew that the Chong family's attempt to kill him today was destined to go unresolved. If he wanted to get back at them today, he could only rely on himself in the future. It was impossible for him to rely on Tang Chun. Of course, he didn't resent Tang Chun because of this. After all, he didn't have a close relationship with Tang Chun. Tang Chun had already done his utmost for the Chong family to apologize to him. Tang Chun had no obligation to help him further. However, when Chong Si and Chong Kuchi were about to apologize to Duan Tian, Chong-er beat them to it. He cupped his hands together and said respectfully, young Master Duan, my elder brother, the clan leader of the Chong clan, asked me to tell you that no matter what misunderstandings there are between you and the Chong clan wishes to write off all misunderstandings between you and the Chong clan. For this, our Chong family is willing to pay any price we can. Chong-er said. Chong Keki couldn't understand Chong-er's words and couldn't help but frown. Even Tang Chun was now stunned. He just asked the other party to apologize to Duan Tian, but he didn't expect the other party to make such a statement. Didn't they understand his words? He said that they only needed to apologize. Did the Chong family have too many treasures? However, at this moment, even Duan Tian himself did not expect number 2 to express such a stance. Moreover, number 4 and the old man behind him were not surprised when they saw the expressions of the other 3 people beside number 2. Only Chong-er's son, Chong Keki, was surprised. Obviously, Chong Si and the old man behind him agreed with Chong-er's words and didn't have any objections. This was thought-provoking. That's right. Suddenly, Duan Tian's eyes swept over the old man behind Chong Si and a thought flashed in his mind. The old man's appearance overlapped with a face in his memory. He remembered. In the past, before he entered the Hidden Fog Academy, he and Duan Xiaoyu had sat together in Box 9 of the Zhou family's auction house. After bidding for the first, second, and third divine pills, someone from the Zhou family had sent the pills over. Normally, it would be enough for the other party to send the pills over alone. However, the other party wasn't alone. There was another person behind him and it was an old man. At that time he found it strange, but he didn't think much of it. He just thought it was a strange rule of the Zhou family's auction house. But now he remembered. The old man he saw in box 9 of the Zhou family's auction house and the old man standing behind Chong Si were the same person. It seems that his appearance in box 9 wasn't a coincidence. Chong Si must have asked him to come over and see who I am. After all, I snatched the divine pill that Chong Si wanted in front of everyone and embarrassed him. He remembered that when he snatched the first, second and third divine pills from Chong Si was furious. At that time many people said that Chong Si was vengeful and that he was unlucky. However, he also knew in his heart that Chong Si would be vengeful. Later, when the beautiful woman next to the mysterious girl, Duan Xiaoyu, walked out of box 9 and displayed her strength as a god emperor, Chong Si would definitely not dare to take revenge on him. No wonder he noticed that the old man behind Chong Si looked at him strangely. Apparently the old man recognized him. With all these reasons, he wasn't surprised that the second master of the Chong family was acting so humble. The Chong family obviously wanted to make peace with him and didn't dare to provoke him. As for the reason, it was because of the mysterious girl, Duan Xiaoyu. Back then, when the old man behind Chong Si saw him in box 9 of the Zhou family's auction house, Duan Xiaoyu was sitting next to him and holding his hand intimately. She even called him brother. War Sovereign Ling Tian. Chapter 3665. If the old man behind Chong Si did not feel anything when he first saw Duan Xiaoyu sitting next to him and affectionately calling him big brother, however, after Yu Qiushuan, the beautiful woman who addressed Duan Xiaoyu as young miss, made a move, the old man must have felt that both Duan Xiaoyu and him were not ordinary people. If you want to read the entire edition for free, please go to Baidu search. What a joke. How could an ordinary person have the protection of a godly emperor? How could an ordinary person have the protection of a godly emperor address them as big brother? However, this old man must have discovered my identity before this. Previously, he had already recognized my identity, so he must have told Chong Si and Chong Er. Soon, Duan Lingtian thought of something very important. At that time, Chong Si and Chong Si still chose to kill me. It's obvious that they want to kill me here. As for why they're not afraid of me sending a message, it must be because they've set up a formation. No wonder I felt strange movements in the surrounding space 4 times in a row. So it's because of the formation's activation. Duan Lingtian was skilled in the law of space. Coupled with his mastery of the Tao of control of the 4 Taos of heaven and earth, his control of space had reached an extremely profound level. Even if he could not sense it, he could still detect the minute changes in the surrounding space. That formation must be a formation that restricts communication. In other words, when they found out about my identity, they already planned to kill me because I was trapped at that time and could not send a message at all. However, they would never have dreamed that Elder Tang Chun was a godly king expert, and a higher godly king at that. Not long after arriving at this restaurant, Duan Lingtian had inadvertently extended his divine consciousness. When it came into contact with Tang Chun, he discovered that Tang Chun's cultivation base was only at the godly spirit level and not the godly king level. Although he was only at the intermediate godly spirit level, his divine consciousness could still vaguely detect the cultivation base of a higher godly spirit. It was also at that time that he asked Tang Chun this question. Tang Chun told him that when he went out, he would habitually use a secret technique to conceal his cultivation to avoid being disturbed by god kings. Unless one's actual cultivation was on par with his or stronger than him, no one would be able to see through his disguise, even if they used their divine sense to probe. Normally, such people would not disturb him because in their eyes, in this world where the strong were respected, they were on the same level. Clearly, I'm not the only one who is unable to see through Elder Tang Chun's concealment of his cultivation. Even those from the Zhong clan are unable to see through his cultivation. It didn't take long for Duan Lingtian to sort out what had happened based on his guesses. Now that Chong Er was begging for peace, it couldn't be because of Tang Chun. After all, even though 4th Zhong had offended Tang Chun didn't kill him. It was clear that Tang Chun dreaded the power behind the Zhong family. Perhaps some great figure of the Zhong family in the Hidden Fog sect had sent a message to Tang Chun. Or perhaps as long as Tang Chun showed mercy, he could obtain decent compensation. This could be faintly seen from the fact that Tang Chun only asked the Zhong family to apologize to him. Are you sure your Zhong family can withstand any price? As long as it is within your power? Tang Chun was stunned. Duan Lingtian looked deeply at Chong Er and asked. Yes. Chong Er nodded. Good. Duan Lingtian looked deeply at Chong Er and faintly smiled. Since that's the case, then I ask Master Chong Er to first show some sincerity. I don't need any other sincerity. Speaking of this, Duan Lingtian's gaze fell on Chong Keki behind Chong Er. Master Chong Er, the grudges between me and the Zhong family are all because of your son Chong Keki. I only have 2 requests for the Zhong family. The first request is that Chong Keki cannot live, Duan Lingtian said. Almost as soon as Duan Lingtian's voice fell, Chong Er and Chong Keki's expressions changed drastically. Even Chong Er's face became ugly. He couldn't help but ask, "Young Master Duan, can't you leave some leeway?" Duan Lingtian glanced at Chong Er indifferently. "When your Zhong family wanted to kill me, did you ever think of leaving some leeway?" Without waiting for Chong Er's response, Duan Lingtian looked at Chong Er and said with a mocking expression, "Master Chong Er, if the Zhong family can't even fulfill the first request, I don't think there's a need for me to make a second request." At the same time, Duan Lingtian looked at Tang Chun beside him. "Elder Tang Chun, I can't eat this meal. How about I go back to the Hidden Fog Academy and wait for you? At that time, you don't have to run to the Hidden Fog Academy. You just need to send me a message." Before leaving the Hidden Fog Academy, Duan Lingtian and Tang Chun exchanged soul beads so they could communicate with each other. "No, I'm not eating either." Tang Chun shook his head. "Let's go back to the sect." Although Tang Chun didn't know what was going on, he knew this wasn't the time to ask Duan Lingtian. At the same time, he didn't think the Zhong family would agree to Duan Lingtian's first request. Who was Chong Keki? Although Chong Keki didn't have much of a presence in Tang Chun's eyes, he had heard of him a long time ago. He knew that Chong Keki was a crown prince of the Zhong family and was the first candidate to succeed the Zhong family. Moreover, he was the son of Chong Er. Now that Duan Lingtian said he wanted Chong Keki's life in front of Chong Er, it was already good enough that Chong Er didn't flip out. How could he agree to Duan Lingtian's conditions? Today, even if Murong Suifeng, the vice-sect master of the Hidden Fog Academy, was here, Chong Er wouldn't agree. However, just as Duan Lingtian stood up and was about to leave with Tang Chun, a scene that shocked Tang Chun appeared. "My unfilial son has offended young Master Duan many times. He deserves to die." A roar that seemed to come from the depths of his throat rang out. In the next moment, accompanied by a bang sound, blood splattered out in the private room. A body that was originally alive completely fell to the ground, turning into a corpse. It was the Zhong family's second master, Chong Er. In front of everyone, he slapped his son Chong Keki's head and sent him away. Duan Lingtian was indifferent to the scene in front of him, because he had already guessed that this would be the outcome. And this outcome further confirmed his conjecture in his heart. Tang Chun, on the other hand, did not expect Chong Er would agree to Duan Lingtian's first request and kill his son, Chong Kuchi, in front of him. Although Tang Chun had experienced a lot in his life, he could not help but feel shocked when he saw this. When he looked at Duan Lingtian again, he felt as though this young man who had maintained a calm expression until now had become a stranger. "Young Master Duan." Before Chong Keki could even react, Chong Er, who had killed him, looked at Duan Lingtian again. His eyes were red and his body was trembling because of excitement. There was obviously a terrible emotion brewing in his heart, but he didn't release it. "Please state your second request." At this moment, Chong Er's voice became hoarse. "The second request is simple." Duan Lingtian looked at Chong Er deeply again and said unhurriedly, "That is, it depends on the sincerity of your Chong family." As Duan Lingtian spoke, he raised his left hand and his right hand followed. His thumb and index finger pinched the storage ring on his left hand and kept rotating it, as if he was hinting at something. Seeing this, Chong Er secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Chong Er and the old man behind him also breathed a sigh of relief. They were really worried that the second request of the young man in front of them was to take their lives. They knew very well that once Duan Lingtian made such a request, their Chong family would definitely satisfy him. After all, in the face of the survival of the huge Chong family, their lives were insignificant. "Elder Tang Chun, let's go." Without waiting for Chong Er to agree, because Duan Lingtian knew that there was no need. Even Chong Keki's life was willing to be sacrificed, so the Chong family wouldn't care about some worldly possessions. Tang Chun was still in a state of shock. It wasn't until Duan Lingtian greeted him that he regained his composure. He nodded and left with Duan Lingtian. "Young Master Duan, after we prepare the things, how should we give them to you?" The moment Duan Lingtian stepped out of the room, Chong Er finally spoke. "Have someone send them to the Hidden Fog sect," Duan Lingtian lightly said. He obviously didn't plan on going to the Chong family himself. After Duan Lingtian's back disappeared from sight, Chong-er finally couldn't take it anymore. His body shook and he collapsed to the ground. He crawled over to Chong-keki's corpse and whispered, Don't blame father, don't blame father. Father did this for the family. Don't worry, you died for the family today. The family will not forget you. You will be immortalized in the family's history for generations to come. At this time Chong-er also arrived beside Chong-er. He patted his shoulder and said, Second brother, my condolences. In truth, you could have let me do it. The two brothers glanced at each other. They could see the resentment and helplessness in each other's eyes. At the same time, Duan Lingtian left the restaurant with Tang Chun. As they left Skywind City, Tang Chun's apologetic voice echoed in his ears. Duan Lingtian, I'm really sorry for what happened just now. Elder Tang Chun, what are you saying? Duan Lingtian shook his head. You didn't do anything wrong to me. Tang Chun wryly smiled. They tried to kill you in front of me just now, but after that I only asked them to apologize verbally. Aren't you angry? Duan Lingtian shook his head again, but this time he didn't speak. It was clear he didn't want to speak. Duan Lingtian. Seeing this, Tang Chun's wry smile deepened. Just now, I was actually going to kill Chong-er, but just as I was about to do it, I received a message from the sect. The person who sent me the message was the Chong family's old master. He is also an inner sect elder like me, Chong Tianqing. Chong Tianqing's strength is about the same as mine, but he is very close to a core elder. As he spoke, Tang Chun seemed to deliberately explain his helplessness. Ling Tian, War Reverend, that you're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.